5%. Okay, that is super important information for you to know. Now, when you talk to somebody now about the rental market and you have this document that we're kind of going over, how much more comfortable do you feel? A lot more comfortable. Did you know that these economic indexes existed? No, you did know. Okay, you didn't know that they existed. One of the coolest things our state does, really, and it's basically all for the benefit of encouraging development and encouraging people to move here. And these things are at your fingertips. They're beautiful. You could be sending these things out to people. Is there any buyer or seller right now that might need this document in their hand? So whenever you're thinking about what could I send out, sometimes you come and talk to me and you say, Teresa, what should I send out to my clients? I might be wanting to, and by the way, and here's the most beautiful thing ever. This is a PDF document. You all know what that means. If I have their email address, I don't have to mail it to them. I can include that in an email. Okay. So let's look at the vacancy by area, March 2017. Oh, no, you don't stop working, so I'm not going to have it. Just go away. So over here, oh, come on there. Anybody else ever have problems with technology?
Oh. No, not ever.
Good. I'm so glad. I knew it was operator error. I knew it was just me.
That's why I don't pack a weapon.
I know, right? Dan, I need your gun. I'm going to shoot this computer. Okay. So vacancy rates. It shows here all these really cool little graphs. I want to talk about the Mat-Su area. Rent vacancies both increased in the Matanuska-Susitna Borough in 2017, sending mixed signals. I'll tell you why. Mat-Su leads the state in new housing construction, built approximately 250 new multifamily units each year from 2014 to 2016, which likely fed more vacancies. The vacancy rate more than doubled this year from 3.6% to 7.6%. The current rate is well over the decade average of 5.1%, but lower than it was in 2005 and 6 when it exceeded 9%. So what they're saying is it might be riskier to have rental units in the Mat-Su Valley. Now, the two people here who are from the Mat-Su Valley, do you think that is yes or no? You think yes? Tell me what they're
having problems with vacancy rate right now.
Right.
People who are working in the office.
Okay. In property management. So what you're telling me is that this data is supported by the company that you work for. They're verifying this data. Okay.
It's not horrible, but it's not good. You know, they're
Correct.
working harder than what they normally do.
Right. It's not just rented. Just because you have it doesn't mean you've got people lining out the door to try and get in. Okay. Which also means same thing when there's too many houses on the market for sale. What happens to price? What happens to rent? Same exact thing. In order to get somebody to get into my unit, I have to bring the rate down. Okay. Okay. So and then so vacancy rate, and then the average rent has been on the rise in Mat-Su over the past 10 years, and it increased 2.4 this year to 1,253. Now again, you guys, this is all rental units blended together. Okay, so that's like the median sales price in Anchorage. Doesn't count for all units. Some houses are selling for $1 million, some are 90,000, right, or low. Okay, all right. So then there's something so cool in here, you guys. Okay, rent plus utilities by unit type. This tells you house, 3 bedrooms. Okay, now let's get into it. Now this looks more in line with what I'm seeing. I'm on page 8. Do you see that? And I'm looking at the 2 grids here: apartment 2 bedroom versus house 3 bedroom. Now looking at Anchorage, does 2123 for a 3 bedroom home in Anchorage look more in line with what I think is actually true to be? Okay. And then in Anchorage, it's $1,312 for a 2 bedroom apartment, $1,312. Now, how do I index that in my mind? I will tell you, I had a single family home rental, 3 bedroom in Spenard. I used to only be able to get $1,400 a month plus all utilities. Okay. I also rented my first apartment in, and this starts to become absolutely stupidity in 1990, I paid $500 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown Anchorage. Okay, now, but again, what does that do for you? It gives you some basis of adjustment. How much has rent risen over a period of time? Very significantly, right? Okay. Okay, now here is the, are you ready for this? This is so exciting. You guys were talking about military. Guess what else they did in this little economic report? This is worth its weight in gold right here, my friends. This is worth the cost of admission to have this document in your hand today. Military spending in Alaska. Can I just tell you what a big deal the military is in our area? And what would happen to our state if they actually closed JBER? And by the way, before you scoff and tell me that that will never happen, I want you to know in 1990, Joint Base Elmendorf, Richardson did not exist. First of all, it was Richardson and Elmendorf. And it was on the base closure list and they were closing it down.
I remember.
They were mothballing.
I can't believe Virginia's so high.
Sure.
Virginia's cheap.
No, it's not like that. You need to know all the defense contractors are in Virginia. All the defense contractors, they've got all kinds of bases there. It's right by DC.
Yeah, everybody that doesn't want to live in DC lives in Virginia.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it makes absolute sense to me. If you've ever been in the government contracting world, it makes absolute sense. You've got all the government contractors, space agency, all those guys.
It's not a huge state.
Yeah.
Population.
Yeah.
I mean, not huge.
So Virginia, per capita spending for defense, 6,324. Hawaii, 5,415. Alaska, 4,446. Okay. West Virginia, God, look at these states: Idaho, Tennessee, Oregon, Michigan, Virginia. Wow, look at that. Is that just absolutely crazy? So what does the military do here? What do they do?
Spends a lot of money.
Okay. What else do they do? What is the main thing that you and I see in our line of work?
They buy and sell.
They call it, are you ready? PCSing. I think it would be very important for you to know the military lingo. It is, if you want to work with a military family, they would expect you to have a modicum of military lingo. PCSing is permanent change of duty station, is what that stands for. You need to know what their base pay. You need to, if I were you, I would pull a chart. I know exactly right now that an E6 can buy a $400,000 house anywhere they want. Why do I know that? Sure. I mean, you have to know if you're BAH. You have to know what the BAH rate is. You have to know what that spend means in a house. Okay, because ready. They move to Alaska. We are considered, this is something important for you to know, we are considered a foreign duty post. Okay, and they get another something that they become hooked on, and that's called COLA, cost of living allowance. Yeah, it's more expensive to live in Alaska, so they have to do what we call true. They have to true a military dollar. It's going to cost them more for themselves and their family to live here. Okay. So BAH, base housing allowance. There are charts for BAH. BAH.
Basic allowance for health.
Okay.
It's not BHA, it's BAH. Ba is dollars.
Okay.
like this.
What's PCS again?
Permanent change of duty station.
Station. Okay.
Permanent change of duty station. So when people start talking about BAH and PCSing and all of this kind of stuff, I need you to be like, I'm tracking with what you're telling me. I'm there. When they tell you what rank they are, that equates to a house. Okay, the government pays for soldiers to live. They pay their housing. So when they purchase a house, in theory, right, in theory, no dollar comes out of that veteran's pocket to pay for that house. The government is paying for that house. It is highly attractive then in a good economy for a soldier to purchase a house. That's highly attractive. Okay. Now, what else do you need to know about the military when it comes to Alaska? This is the #1 place by a landslide that military families want to retire. Why? I need you to tell me about the tax breaks, mister. Tell me about the tax breaks.
Well, first of all, it's 50% for more disabled. This is about getting out who things are. $150,000 tax bill. That's all the price of your house. So if your house is worth $300,000, you only pay $150,000 in tax.
That is municipal, that's your municipal taxes. Okay, what else? Okay, there's no sales tax. What else? There's no state income tax. What else? You get a free fishing license.
Permanent fund.
Free park
Permanent
there.
fund. What else?
Free park there, so, utility. Also, there's a, of course, a VA loan, no money down. Of course, with it so much.
So did you just hear that? Free fishing license, free park pass, free, no, you get a break on your, yes, sir.
You can also get a free registration for one car.
Free registration for one car,
Sometimes with wheelchair.
right? What's that?
Apply for it. You can have one car, free registration. They give you a little red sticker instead of a year sticker.
Yes,
Put a little red sticker where the year
and
thing
you don't
was.
have to register your car?
And you never got to register and pay for the registration. What's it, $120?
170 for me, 170,
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes,
No more registration.
Put that P on there.
yeah. Okay, how do you like them? So what, so we, not only that, but typically, I won't say all folks, but typically folks who go into the military, they like adventure. So does Alaska fit their bill? Does it probably tick off a whole bunch of stuff? We've got the hunting, we've got the fishing, we've got the wilderness, we've got the wildlife, we've got the flying, we've got the canoeing, right? Well, I mean, and you would think if someone, yeah, okay, but you would think, did I miss something down there? We have Olive Garden. We have all the fancy restaurants. We've got Texas Roadhouse now. Okay, it looks like home now. Okay, they had to wait for a million billion years for that to happen, right? Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, but how cool is it to know so what that means? So the monitor, how to monitor the economy. What? How to monitor the economy? Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm not kidding you. Is this important information for you to have? Yes. There are 3 major gauges to the economy. As with a cockpit dashboard, the 3 big detailed gauges, job growth, unemployment rate, and gross domestic product growth, GDP, provide some of the most fundamental information about the health of Alaska's economy. So now every time you are thinking about the health of Alaska's economy, what are the 3 things you are now looking at? Job, okay? Yeah. Yes. Growth in jobs. What is our unemployment rate? And our unemployment rate, kids, changes season over season, month over month. Okay, we have a huge seasonal, huge buy-in to our. We actually are one of those folks who bring in the. There's a special kind of visa, J1 visas for folks to come up here. Correct? Okay, what are they doing?
Working cheap.
They're working. Are you ready? I'm going to use the word. They're working. Jobs that nobody else wants to do, like fish processing. Okay, they're working at some of the camps. They're doing some of the things that people don't want to do, that we can't get our own citizens or our own kids to go do.
They're gaming.
Yeah, well,
They watch too much TV. They're entitled.
well, I now finally have got it figured out. I have Disney children that just never got on a show. That's what I just finally figured out. I'm like, oh no, I totally get it. Okay, you think you were on a TV show, but you're not. Your mom's your only Instagram follower. Okay, all right. So provides the most fundamental information about the health of Alaska's economy. In most economies, jobs are the front and center where assessing economic health, and how many is generally less important than whether the number is increasing or decreasing. Second, the unemployment rate is related but a complicated measure of the percentage of people who aren't working but are actively seeking work, meaning it excludes those who retire or enter college, for example. The unemployment rate can send mixed signals about the economic health. It's long been one of the most prominent economic measures. The third gauge is the state's gross domestic product. It's similar to job growth, and then its relevance lies more in whether the value of what the economy produces is increasing or decreasing than its value of itself. The upper and lower limits of the gauges give some sense of how high and low the measures could move based on primarily on history. Some of those telling moments in history, both for Alaska and the United States, are identified on the left side of the gauges. On the right side are the most current data point for Alaska, and for comparison, the same data points for the United States. So they're going to talk about timing. So let's look at this. So post-80s recession, last time Alaska above 2% growth, May 2012. U.S. Great Recession in 2009. That kills me, the Great Recession. Recession in the 80s, September 1986. That is actually, 1986 was the year I graduated from high school. Okay? We are currently, the big number over here, we're currently at negative 1.7. Do you see that? Okay? So,
And the U.S. is at 1.5%.
that's correct. So we're just a little bit under the United States. Okay. We typically, one of the things you will always hear is that Alaska always lags the United States. Do you understand what that means? Whatever's happening in the United States, we're slower to have anything come to Alaska. We're slower to have anything hit Alaska. Okay. So I think those are really interesting. Over here it says, I want you to talk about 7 additional measures. It's on page 12, if you don't mind. Let me go down to page 12. What are the 7 additional measures? You tell me. It's on page 12, kind of in the middle of the page.
So, did you guys not get it?
No, I was scoffing at the big recession in 2009 because it was nothing like the almost economic collapse of the United States in the early century, turn of the century. That almost wiped out the United States. This one was what very few people understand. And have any of you in here watched the movie The Big Short or read the book? Okay, you've watched it. I have the book. I'm happy to read, and we actually, in one boot camp class, we actually watched The Big Short. I would tell you we could do that as one of our activities. The deal is that in 2008, right now you're seeing 2 massive hurricanes, right? You're seeing Harvey that just hit Texas, and then we've got a lady, Irma that's just might hit, most likely going to hit Florida. So those are like 2 devastating events hitting two states in the United States at exactly the same time. Most of the time, kids, we get one devastating event, and it's pretty freaking devastating. So just to make it in hurricane terms, okay, 2 economic hurricanes hit the United States at exactly the same time, okay? One was the first one was the collapse of the car market. Now, what's okay, and just so you know, if the car market is doing not so well, but the housing market is doing okay, our economy is going to do okay. Okay? If the car market is doing badly, if the car market is doing good, but the housing market isn't doing good, our economy is going to stay afloat. If in the perfect economic world storm, if the car market and the housing market go down at the same time, not only did it almost take down the entire United States economy, okay, it also almost took down the entire world's economy. So if America's economy fails, just FYI, we will pull the economy of every other industrialized nation down with us. It just is a fact, okay? And I just want you to, like, in your mind's eye, when you watch hurricane coverage and you see, I saw the funniest thing ever, I'll share it with you in a second, but when you see stores empty of food, they cannot get gas for their cars. Okay. Now, if it's a temporary situation, Americans are okay to be inconvenienced for a minute. We are not okay to be inconvenienced for years. Our economy could have fallen to a 3rd or 4th world economy. If you want to know what a 3rd world economy looks like, okay, that's some places in Mexico and some places in South America. If you want to know what a 4th world economy looks like. You might want to travel outside of any India or Pakistan, any of the developed areas. You're going to see what a fourth world economy looks like.
We don't even have toilets.
They don't have, there's no grocery stores. Okay? Yeah, it's very, very scary. And FYI, just in your mind's eye, imagine for about 10 minutes, what would it be like for you to go to the store and for there to be no food on the shelves? What would it be like for you to pull your car up and there's no gas in the pumps? Doesn't matter how much money, it doesn't matter how much money you have, you can't buy the good. Doesn't matter. So all of a sudden, some of those crazy off-gridders, they don't look so crazy sometimes, right? Some of those doomsday preppers, they don't look so weird.
I got 9 months food supply there.
Okay, and see, I'm going to tell you, there's days where I'm like, that's crazy, and then I'm coming to your house when S gets real. Okay,
Guns too.
perfect. Okay, so you guys look at this. Look at how much cool stuff. Look at all these little graphy graphs in the back here. I think these are some of the coolest things that I can share with you. Okay, so you've got 10-year averages. You've got all of this stuff. Do you right now just feel smarter than you did when you walked in the room? Did you all know all this stuff? Job growth, one of the most reliable and simple measures of economic health. Current job losses are much less severe than during our 80s recession or during the worst months of the U.S. Great Recession. While Alaska has been losing jobs since late 2015, the U.S. has been adding jobs at a steady, moderate rate since late 2010. Unemployment rate, I'm going to just read the little tags down here. The unemployment rate is an important but complicated measure, especially in Alaska, with its large migration flows, okay, and seasonal employment, you guys. Unemployment rate can be relatively low in a weak economy if job losers leave the state to look for work. Despite a very strong economy in the early 80s, unemployment rates were as high as 9 to 10%. We had in the height of our state, we had 9 to 10% unemployment. And they were giving money away like you couldn't believe. There, seniors, you guys, there used to be something called a longevity bonus.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the one? Yeah. So my dad, for a number of years, got a longevity bonus, and he was really pissed off when they took it away because the state couldn't afford it anymore. Right? Okay. Can you imagine the longer you lived in the state, you got rewarded for the number of time you stayed in the state. So there's some gauges down here, initial claims for unemployment, wage growth, 2015 to 2016, personal income growth, changes in house pricing. Okay, I care about that. Look at that. Change in house prices. Volatile indicator, it says. First quarter decline suggests the recession is starting to affect the housing market. You guys that are out there selling right now, how do you feel about the housing market right now?
I think it's slower.
You think it's slower?
If you're not priced right, it's gonna sit there.
20% last year.
20% in your market area?
Yeah.
Okay. 20, you've lost 20, like, so if a house was $100,000, it's going to sell for 80 now?
No, 20%.
Less.
Including Angeles.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
That price.
Thank you. That's why I'm asking. Foreclosure rate. Look at the foreclosure rate. There is a bunch of people that believe, and I don't know, I can't answer what I don't know. How's that? There are some people believe that there was if the United States in 2008, with all the foreclosures that the United States took back, okay, if they would have released all of those foreclosures at the exact same time, that it would have permanently ruined our economy. So they literally think, now this is the theory, that they've released foreclosures a bit at a time, and they've watched how the economy would react to the number of foreclosures. What do you know if you have a foreclosure property that's up? So, and I'm going to pick on Lisa for a sec. Lisa, you have a house in Sahalee. So if there was a home in Sahalee that had been foreclosed, what would that do to the price of your property? Okay, why?
Perfect market analysis for one.
Okay, they're still gonna offer the property at market value, but they are going to have a discount on it because it's been foreclosed. Okay, almost like the house is smelly because somebody didn't pay for it. That's not always the truth, but it might have been sat vacant for a long period of time, et cetera, et cetera. It might have some deferred maintenance on it. It might not, and obviously wouldn't look as sharp and shiny as how a lot of us keep our homes. Like they wouldn't have been doing upgrades and updates to it. What can happen to a house over 2 years? A lot, right? So it just doesn't look as sharp, right? Okay, so the foreclosure rate, unlike the 80s recession, the foreclosure rates remain low so far. That could be, there is, if you ever have an opportunity to talk to Barb Huntley, who has a huge foreclosure account, she every once in a while will chat about what they call the shadow inventory. They believe that there's a shadow inventory that has remained off. I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny. I don't have the keys to that kingdom, so I don't know if that's true or not. But there are people, that is something that is discussed. Okay, population growth. Our population is supposed to, some people say we're supposed to get to 1 million people. Anybody want to know why Alaska would be attractive to come to?
Taxes for one.
Okay, what else?
The lifestyle is so much easier here.
Well, how about if you're in Houston, Texas right now?
We only have earthquakes.
Yeah, right. What are you thinking if you're like living in Houston, Texas right now? What's another, a lot of those folks, you guys, are related to oil producers.
Mhm.
What's another oil producing state? A lot. You know, so what might be an attractive place for you to go? I don't know that I think it's going to be there's going to be a migration out of Houston. I think it's going to be real interesting where people go. If you did not know, you want to hear something interesting? When Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, there was a huge population that actually went to Houston, Texas to live. That's not ironic, not even a little bit. And most of them stayed. Okay, so now they get hurt. Like, what is it? Hurricanes follow you people around. Maybe we need to know who they are.
Right.
But what am I trying to say? So there, people are going to possibly decide to leave an area. They may decide to leave the Gulf states because they're going to decide not to get hit by a flood again and not to get in a hurricane again. Okay, so what other areas of the country have jobs and look attractive? When I drive around Anchorage, Alaska, it doesn't look very hard to get a job, kids.
There's signs up everywhere.
There's signs up everywhere. Okay. And then now conversely, I want you to know another effect that's going to happen. I want you to watch new construction over the next probably 3 to 5 years. If I'm a sheetrock dude and I'm living in Anchorage, Alaska right now, and I want to have long, steady employment for the next 3 to 5 years, I am probably not staying in Anchorage with what's happening with our new construction. Okay, I might consider moving to Houston where they're going to price gouge the hell and I'm going to make a crap ton of money. Why?
Because
They're gonna need a lot of
insurance is
sheetrock.
paying for it.
Insurance claims, kids. So there's going to be a lot. We're going to lose Alaska. Alaska and every other state is going to lose what I call people in the construction services. They're going to decide to relocate and take advantage of Texas. They did that in Katrina. They did that in Sandy. Hurricane Sandy. People, contractors left in droves.
We can't afford that.
Of course they did. Sure.
Jobs.
Yeah. How many people, anybody in here knew anybody who went to North Dakota? I have a couple friends who went to North Dakota because they were paying $20 an hour in a McDonald's drive-thru.
Holy cow.
That's $40,000 a year, kids.
You can afford a house.
In North Dakota. But you
North
still be in North Dakota. That's all I have to say. So we've got net migration. Then look at this. They got employment by region. How do you care about that? You super care. So Anchorage and Matsu, 1.7 unemployment, right? Yep. 9.7 unemployment on the North Slope. Look at this. So when people are coming in from other areas, now you have something a little bit. So how Alaska ranks. Unemployment. First is Colorado and North Dakota. Wow. 50th state. Per capita personal income, we're 8th. Connecticut is the 1st. Mississippi is the 50th. Job growth, we're 50th. Nevada, first is Nevada. Gross domestic product, we're 45th. California is 1st. Vermont is 50th. Average hourly earnings, that's private, we're 8th. First is Massachusetts. 50th is Mississippi. Then we've got other economic indicators. There's a ton of people who believe that the North Slope crude price is the most important economic indicator. It used to be. If you were in the 80s, that was the only thing that mattered. Now, not as much, can I just tell you? And oil looks like from a year ago, this says it's up 36%. That makes a whole bunch of people happy. Bankruptcies, business and personal. Business, only 5 businesses have gone through bankruptcy. Okay.
Last year was.
Yeah, look at that. And then unemployment filings, look at that. Okay, and then they have a safety minute, employer resources. So how do you like this little report? Do you like how it covers all these different things?
You can get this online.
I can get this online. And at the break, I'm probably gonna go upstairs and I'm super excited. I ran these on last Monday. They didn't have the new one out that's all about the Mat-Su Valley. Why am I so excited about knowing information about the Mat-Su Valley? Why would that be awesome? Awesome economic information for not just the 2 people who that's your market area, but also those of us who know that we have to sell now in the Mat-Su Valley in order to make a living because we have boomerang clients that are going to boomerang out to the valley. Okay, and they may end up boomerang. Why might someone boomerang back? Okay, what are the things? What are the things that you might not what are the positives about living out there? What are the negatives?
It's mute.
The drive. Okay, commute. What does it cost?
I've been told the drive's not so bad if you get into those books on CDs.
Right? Sure. There ain't enough books on tape to last me. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, there's a lot of wrecks in the winter.
Yeah. Well, I think there's also times when the road gets shut down for different things in different places.
And yesterday, I went out to the fairgrounds to pick up things, and I came back at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon during the monsoon, and it was bumper to bumper traffic coming out of Anchorage at 4 in the afternoon, all the way to Palmer.
Sure.
4 to 6 every day.
Yeah. So,
Well, when it's raining and when
I was
it's
going the other
snowing, it's the
Just
worst.
to look,
But
and just cars after cars after cars, all going the other direction. It was.
and that's not even fair traffic.
Yeah, it wasn't even fair. It was Tuesday afternoon.
sure. So are you now? But can I give you an example? If you've moved here from LA or from Seattle,
Oh, yeah.
and you look at that
That's not
traffic,
6-lane
can I tell you what you
stop.
say? Can I tell you what you say?
That's
They think that we're big whiners.
Yeah.
Like, you mean you had to travel an hour to get to work? What? Did that mean your coffee got cold? What? Okay, they just don't think it's that big of a deal. If you come from a metro area, I swear I feel like this is not an exaggeration. I feel like I spent an hour in LA traffic to go 5 feet one day.
Exactly.
Okay, so I don't really feel that it's that terrible.
An hour, 10 miles.
But that's
all relative.
perspective. It's all perspective. Anybody lived in a big city? Okay, and what was traffic like? Yeah, So-
You don't go places because of the time of day.
yeah. Well, see, and I kind of feel like you can get all the way across Anchorage in about 20 minutes, 40 if it's anywhere.
Any day.
Yeah, so I don't feel like it's that terrible, but right. But relatively, now here's what does mess people up when they come from Florida and they come to Alaska with their 2-wheel drive, with their like Jeep Wrangler with T-tops and no top, and they want to go live in Wasilla. That could be a problem. Okay, all right, 10-minute break, guys. And guess what I'm doing? I'm running upstairs and I'm running off that. I'm so excited about that Mat-Su one. That just makes me happy. I'm gonna print that bad boy out. I'm hoping everybody brought their CMA.
Oh, is this supposed to bring a CMA? I have one.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, I'll go get, I have one. I'll go get it.
You can get a great one for that house up there.
No, that was pretty specific.
Good, how are you?
Oh, yeah. You're supposed to do it on your own house.
Oh, I can do it on the house across the street from me,
Yeah,
which I have.
it's pretty much,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so,
Was that the homework from the first boot camp, a CMA?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay,
I wasn't here.
I wasn't either.
Okay.
I'm not doing
I had
any
to
work up there now.
This is yours?
It's still working?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's a-
Until you get it off the ground and get to where you
I
can
don't
stop
know.
and, yeah, it's a tough break in,
Contact them.
from what I understand.
This is.
Like, I can't even leave.
This is, okay, you know,
I know. I'm really wondering how fast Walmart will fire me if I staple my Jack White real estate card to my Walmart business card and just hand it out to all my customers. I'm like,
Not anymore, right?
it'll take them 6 months to figure that
They
out.
won't even know. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I talk to 300 people a day, all day, every day.
But
you
it's
know?
hard to bring it up if it's not in the conversation.
Yeah.
But when I have my tag on and I go to a store, they almost always ask me, so how's the
Really?
market? What's the market like?
Interesting.
And she's just exactly right.
How did you
How's the
get
housing? Is it a good
tagged?
time to buy? You know?
You have to go to an ethics meeting to get your Jack White name tag, is that right?
Yours is ordered.
Okay,
Yours should be here soon. Just ask Mary.
because I'm gonna stick it on my lab coat, see how fast they can fire me.
Truly, yeah. You
Because I don't have time to market when I'm at,
know another way to market? Go to garage sales.
I work every weekend.
Oh.
That's the only time Anchorage does anything is on the weekend, and I work every weekend till the end of time, and I can't get out of it because my boss is a jerk. It's so frustrating.
And that's why you're
And
here.
that's why I'm here today. Yes, yes. We're not always peace.
You have a cup of coffee.
Tell you what their mortgage is. They go $625,000. Oh, no, estimated balance $5,760,000. And then their estimated payment, which is the actual cost, is $3,011.
I'm not sure I know you. I'm Dan.
I'm Rebecca Dan.
I'm Rebecca. And I see there's a new one coming. I'm the best Santa in town. I'm at Astro Christmas.
Okay,
So,
yeah, there is a new one coming.
yep. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I've got a new second granddaughter gonna show up in January. So,
Nice. So she'll just miss it. So you'll have to do a special first Christmas with Santa for her.
I will. And 3 pictures. So
That's just, yeah, that was.
bring your
Awesome.
camera, take pictures. Bring your phone, take pictures.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome
The
job.
pictures are kind of hokey, but they're free.
Whoever.
Totally. You will come. Thank you.
Best Santa in town.
It doesn't say that on here.
I tell everybody. There's people around here will tell you that.
Nice. I love that.
That was the original listing.
It might have been listed
Yeah.
before.
I'm
That listing was in 2013. That's the last one. It's like, what, 2,700 square foot?
New house.
Thank
4,000.
Oh, yeah.
240
shot.
square feet for the residence. That's awesome and huge. I understand. We can't all in there.
It's got a boiler. So it's really big, huge.
The lot is 40. Okay, the front, back, new,
Yeah, the even the landscape, I mean, it's got everything about it. It's cool. And then, you've seen that, so now they sell fairly decent, and I didn't look at the lifeline of the contracts, you know, how long they last, the houses selling there for that price. That's only been on for like 5 days. Or what they've had.
you know, so they switched it, they tried to sell it 4 years ago, right? These are all in the same area, completed. Yeah, I grew up in this town and we mansions.
What do you call them?
Well, I don't know if people say that, but that's an old term. Mansions, these are pretty, you know, these are nicer, they're not just big houses.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah. Well,
actually stylish.
Yeah, I mean, for up here, yeah, so
It's pretty amazing. So if you grew up here, you know, the typical split level house up here. 3 bedrooms, bath, built like they said, it was big enough. And you see the house,
yeah, no,
you
I
actually
don't know.
want that.
I'm Midwest, so we're spoiled with nice houses.
And
My
not,
home in Ohio's like got big oak pillars.
and not, how much do you pay for it, right?
Rod's been in the family forever, so
Oh.
I paid next to nothing for it. But it's
Your
probably,
great-grandparents bought it?
my grandfather owned it and then my father owned it. And the house was built in 1896.
They used to build houses, old, and 2x4s, they were actually 2 inches by 4 inches.
Literally.
Yeah,
right?
literally,
Yeah.
2x4 was a 2x4, not a 1.5 by.
This, mine's built with the house is 2x6 construction, whatever.
Yeah.
You're not the oldest son?
The floor joists were oak, the flooring was oak, 2x4s were oak.
I need to go do a tour of the lower 38.
Well, the thing is they built them
Wow.
to stay, you know.
Right. Where did you grow up?
My dad was an engineer for Shell Oil Company. I grew up in a variety of places.
Yeah.
But he was actually born in a little bitty town in Nebraska, whose claim to fame was it was 9 miles away from the Cabela's.
Original Cabela.
And they still use the same school that he graduated out of.
The one-room schoolhouse?
No, it was, they made it out of brick.
Wow.
Both floor and the gymnasium, you know, it's a small town, like one like 400 or 500 people.
That's really cool.
But we built a school that lasted 10 years, they tore it down.
Up
High
here,
school,
up here.
Diamond.
Oh, well, Diamond High School was a weird school. That
It was a California design
California
process.
architect came up
Yes.
here and made big things.
Yeah, and promised some big deals.
I went to that school in the old building.
How's it going?
And
My lunch was frozen.
it was a worthless school.
Yeah, the Francisco more. And, yeah, it
But,
was
you know,
terrible.
in the Midwest, they built things to be around for a while.
I still don't get how that building.
The woodwork down there.
So you're not the oldest child? You are?
Yeah, well, I got an old brother, but
Okay, so he's not in that house.
By default.
Okay, so you are.
actual fire.
So you that could technically be your home. You still have it. Who's in it now?
I got a friend that was, nobody was in it originally, but I got a friend that, he was renting a house and the people that owned the house, their daughter got pregnant and they pretty much told me they had 10 months to get out. And back where I'm from, there's not really too many rentals. I got 2 little kids with my children's age. I've known them forever and I grew up with the guy anyways. He called me and asked what I was doing with the house. I was just sort of making ideas about it.
He's living in it.
Yeah, he
He's
asked,
taking care of it.
Did you get my?
yeah, he asked if he could move in. That's fine, I don't have to pay for the gas bill and all that good stuff.
Okay, so he's taking care of the house and then up and running.
Yeah, he paid for that.
Oh, maybe
He ain't paying me anything for it. I haven't paid $100 a month, but sure and stuff out down there now. Yeah.
You're up here.
Yeah, I'm not. Maybe my younger brother, if he ever grows up,
You would trust him yet?
I'll give him the house, but yeah, no, I don't.
No, I have younger brothers, they're in their 40s, but I wouldn't get to know.
Really? Well, mine just hasn't grown up. He needs to grow up.
Yeah, and it might be a while. You might be 16, he might be 15.
I hope
By
not.
the time that happens. No, I've seen boys like that. Got a couple of them. It gives us something.
Yeah, along with the construction back then, it was done by hand, I mean, hand saws, low skill saw type of stuff.
Yeah.
They built them, a spec that would last, they didn't want to rebuild the damn thing. Most of the construction materials are out there these days are just never throwing.
Yeah, people are like, oh, it's not landing at floors. I'm like, no, no.
Yeah, that's my feeling too.
Gosh, come on. You know?
Laminate floors, you know, that's like asbestos tile with a laminate floor. There was. Glued it down, put the next piece next to it, glued it down.
Yeah, no, the county I grew up in has the largest Amish population of anywhere.
Somewhere in Pennsylvania?
No, it's in Ohio.
Is it in, really? Okay, why would I not know that? Why do I associate?
Berlin, Ohio. Well, because
I associate Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania Dutch.
I do, that
The
must be,
slang
yeah,
language of the German.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I know, Ohio. Ohio.
So, yeah, Berlin. You could look up Berlin. I mean, you find all kinds of stuff in Berlin, Ohio.
What would it tell me?
Yeah, it just look it up. It's insane. It's a really small town, and it's so packed. Like, it's the size of, how would I say it?
Is it close to Columbus?
It's right in between Cleveland and Columbus. Town around here. It's about the size of Cooper Landing. That's the best way I
Okay.
can describe it.
Okay, not that big.
But it takes about 45 minutes to get through it.
Okay,
Because that's how many people.
Dang.
It's stupid.
wow.
People.
Well, I'm glad you're here then, Eric. He said, I hate
Well,
that
I
town.
know. Yeah, I lived in Millersburg, which was right next door.
Does anybody want to have a spare one of these since I printed it?
No.
Yeah.
Would
Did
you?
you print the master?
Of course I just did. And we're gonna go over it, yep.
What was the website? I mean, what did you put on the screen?
I literally said Alaska Economic Trends.
Okay.
If you want to Google it, Alaska Economic Trends, the website will pop, but it's labor.alaska.gov/trends. And it will give you, and right here, and you can even, are you ready here? You can get an electronic subscription where they will email these to you every month. Think that might be something smart for everybody to do?
That's amazing. I'm gonna do it right
Okay. Does anybody want a spare one of these? I printed this many out. I'm happy to give out all the spares. Okay? And if you will use them, please take them. If you won't use them, don't.
Where does Bob Huntley work?
She works for Keller Williams. She's the #1 licensee probably in the state.
Over at Dar Walden, or she's a team?
Barb is also a team, but Barb herself as a single agent is probably the #1. Although she might fight with, you guys, you have to understand how you rate people can be very different. I'm rating you on volume. I'm rating you on number of transactions. I'm rating you on, but Barb still actually sells. She's not just like team leader who's sitting back. She actually does deals.
So I guess who I saw at Home Depot.
Who'd you see at Home Depot?
Adam.
Anna. Yeah.
He didn't like the people. I don't know who he was working with.
Yeah.
William?
Yeah,
Something,
yeah.
yeah. So he said they took 60%
Yes.
of his first commission.
Yeah. If you go for a team, you will make 1/4 of the 1/4. So if you go your own commission, chop that in 4, and that's what you'll receive as a team member.
So he's doing independent.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to Teresa's boot camp and for the post licensing, and he was like, what? And I was like, post thing that you need to do.
Yeah.
I don't remember his last name.
Where's he from?
Virginia.
I know that.
Yeah, he was
Just
in,
took off, he went to,
he just went hunting, he said.
well,
He was the John Deere tractor guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cat, he's.
Yeah.
Cat.
Pardon me. Pardon me. Yes.
Same
I
difference.
didn't come over to Jack White.
True believer.
I did his pre-license. He was a super smart guy.
Yeah,
He was hooked in. He was already hooked in with a team out there.
Yeah,
well,
And-
in
but-
Anchorage.
after the
Yeah.
first,
Yeah, but I will get back in touch with him. I really liked him. I thought he'd be
yeah,
nice.
no, he's awesome, but he needs to do his post licensing.
Yeah, well-
And I was like, you gotta do that. It's
the-
the
it's the
30
deal.
hours, it's the law.
He's in
Everywhere.
Anchorage,
Beautiful days. That's something.
he went to do a job, I think it was on the slope
What is that?
for a minute.
Oh, Christmas countdown. I had some people did that one, retire.
Oh,
is that
Oh,
right?
cool.
They knew
Yeah.
they were gonna retire.
See,
and they
I
had
put
it
Madsen, put a
Madsen.
date or whatever it is you want.
Adam Madsen, right?
Which actually.
Am I right? Okay. All right, how about would you like, and then for folks who are, I'm gonna give an extra, would you like an extra couple of these for your market area? They're printed out all nice and colory.
Yeah, absolutely, free colored prints.
Yeah, you're welcome. See, and anytime, all those, oh, hey, anytime, I'm sending these down, you guys. So these are now your Moosey, your Mooskas. Again, why do we care about, I'm going to be really honest, I'm going to tell you something that I'm not very proud of myself about. I used to not give a rat's behind about Matsu. I used to not care about their economy anymore.
I kinda got that feeling in the class.
Well, there was a longstanding joke because my sister is the broker of Jack White in Wasilla, and I lived in Anchorage, and that was just too lowbrow. Who needs extra copies?
It's mine.
Lowbrow.
Another one.
Here, I'm gonna send it down, try and send it down that way. Yeah. Okay.
Paper flying.
Okay, so why would you, we used to not have to sell in Matsu, guys. You used to not have to sell out there. Now, let me tell you some of the things I still believe. I still believe that I am not an expert in this market area.
Matt Stewart.
Matsu, I'm not an expert in Matsu. There's a lot of different, there's a lot of areas that don't have building codes. I say toothpicks and Toyo stoves. You say you can sell a house. I'm not kidding.
Toothpicks and Toyo stoves.
Toothpicks and Toyo stoves. You can build yourself a mansion.
Sounds like fair.
Pretty accurate in some cases. Maybe a little lap, maybe a little wall lap. So a lot of the houses out in this market area used to not be. Would it be okay if I said constructed well?
Yeah,
Is that okay?
that's politically correct.
Okay, not constructed well. And it was, and the economy early in my real estate career didn't typically support a family being able to live and work in the Matsu Valley. I think that is the one really important, huge change that's happened, is now a family can not only live in Matsu, they can actually work there. You know, there's enough businesses and jobs that you don't have to drive to Anchorage every day. I mean, not enough to support the entire community where they could just stay out there, but there is enough jobs where people can work there. And it's not a one-off for them, for one party to have a job. Also, there's more jobs, just more jobs to be had. How's that?
Right,
Okay, is that fair?
yes.
Look at all of the different businesses that have moved out there. Why does that one little moose guy look like they're smiling? Why does this little baby look like it's smiling at you?
He is, he smiles for the camera.
Seriously. This is what people come up here for, and this is what we get to see every single day. You take it for granted, you guys. Okay, so again, we're gonna have, this is something really interesting. Expanding Matsu, you guys, expanding Matsu training partnerships. There's a whole bunch of training opportunities in the valley that you might not know anything about. There's a job center in Wasilla, the Matsu Regional Hospital, the local, for hospital employees, like local IBEW represents the workers. There's apprenticeships, Job Corps. There's a nurse aide apprenticeship, health services. So If you haven't had an opportunity to take a look at the hospital that they've built and all the adjunct add-ons out there, it's pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah, they've got a nice hospital.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it looks to be larger than the population it serves, if you kind of would think about it that way. Does that make sense? You don't think so? It's pretty massive.
Well, it serves the whole.
For sure.
Right now.
What's that?
So they're at one right now.
But I'm just saying, it looks massive. If you think,
I understand.
just like perception versus reality.
Yeah, well, I mean, I deal with it. I see it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's kind of start going through it. The second most populous borough has long led the state for growth. So what I'm trying to tell you when I'm saying that this area is becoming a bedroom community that can no longer be ignored, Anchorage is pricing people out of the market. Okay? It is pricing people out of this market. When I look, okay, anybody who sells in Anchorage, I want you to tell me what you can get for $200,000. You can get a condo.
Condo and no small one bedroom foreclosure, tiny house.
I don't see short sales anymore. Who sees short sales? I have not seen a short sale in a long time.
Okay, this side is here.
Okay.
Go to,
No, I know that, but that's not necessarily a short.
yeah, okay.
Because it could also be like a divorce proceeding, or it could be they didn't pay their taxes. It's not necessarily what we would consider a true short sale. It's not necessarily. We're talking about where you go look for folks who've gotten a notice that they're in default. Not everyone who's in default is underwater. Does that make sense? That's what short sale. A short sale is you owe significantly more money on your house than you can get for it. Okay? That's a short. Where the bank is going to agree to sell for less than the note owed on it. Okay? All right.
Wasn't Wasilla, a couple of years ago, had the highest percentage of growth in
Absolutely.
the United States?
That wouldn't shock me whatsoever. Now, Neil Fried is the dude. If you want to know who is the #1 state economist, his name is Neil Fried. He works for the state. He's the legit deal. He's a real economist. And this is who people listen to. And he wrote this report. And it's obviously same thing. It's comprised of data that the state collects. Okay, so if you look at first for building new homes, look at Mat-Su Borough. Almost half the new homes in Alaska are being built in Mat-Su. Now tell me, you already know some of the reasons, but why? How come? What's cheaper? Okay, so
Taxes is
what are
one.
the things that are not cheaper? What are the things that are not cheaper?
Construction material?
They're not cheaper.
Right.
They might even be more expensive.
Utilities.
Right, might not cheaper. What else?
It's the same, it's the land. You guys have nothing, you can't expand here.
Well, we absolutely can. We're just choosing not to. And some of the here's the difference. We just let out 17 lots. The average price for those 17 lots was $200,000. Who's buying that lot? Give me a lot in the valley that's priced at $200,000. And I'm talking 11,000 square feet, my friend.
I can't get that quick now.
11,000 square feet, $200,000. This is what yes, you can develop an acre, just going to cost, but that's the half an acre lot was $300,000.
How much is left to develop?
Here's what I need you to do. Go outside. If you see a tree, there's room to develop.
250 state parks in
Yeah,
Anchorage.
yeah. Say it again.
There's 250 state parks in Anchorage.
So at any one given point in time, and you guys think about this. Let's stop for a second. Remember, Jay Bear was under base closure. What do you think was going to happen to that property?
It was going to get sold.
It was probably going to get turned back over to the state, then turned back over to the municipality. Has anybody ever driven on Jay Bear for 10 minutes? Do you notice anything?
In between everything.
Do you notice anything? How much land is there? There's lots of land, okay? It just,
Downtown to Eagle River, it goes that far.
yes. So FYI, how much land is there? There's a ton. It just depends on, and by the way, just in case you don't believe me, I want you to know something, that I've been in real estate for about a minute. I got my license in 1991. If you go down where TGI Fridays is, and that's on C Street International, would you agree? And you go all the way down to International. That land was never, and we used to say this, are you ready? Never, ever, ever, ever going to be developed. Look at it now.
It was a marsh.
It was a federally protected wetland. FYI, federally protected wetland. Now, we used to say it was a municipal wetland. We would always say there's a chance they could swap it out. It was a federal, say it with me, federally protected wetland. What happened? They did a land swap for the land, and now we have 17 hotels.
At least.
Yeah, well, we gotta feed them, that's all I'm saying. Gotta feed them, yes, sir.
Gary King's was built on Blueberry Lake.
That's correct, that's correct.
There was a lake there.
So FYI, there were things that were never supposed to be here. If there is enough push, there are some things that could be done. But there's a lot of land that belongs to the government. But trust me when I tell you, it doesn't mean it will always belong to the government and it will always not be able to be developed. Because you could have, when they decided to start putting up not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, but how many hotels, okay? And that was never going to be developed. Okay, not kidding, kids. So land can be swapped out, is where I'm trying to go. And go down to Potter Marsh. Who thought in a billion years that they would build $1 million houses up above Potter Marsh? I mean, come on. Do you see the lots that those are $1 million houses on 8,000 square foot lots on a sheer cliff. Okay, now have you driven up that? I mean, who thought they would build up there? So if you really want to do it, you'll find a way. Okay. Anyway, so Matsuboro, 44%. So the thing is, it's too easy to build where? In your area. Your area. There's lots of land. What else? Let's talk to me for a minute about Title 21. Anybody know what I'm talking about when I say Title 21? There's Title 17 in the Valley.
Well, Title 17 is Palmer, strictly.
Okay.
And then Title 21 is Anchorage, right?
It is, so there's something called Anchorage 2020, okay? And it is every single area has the same thing, you guys. They put together a development guide, the actual municipal developers, and say, okay, what do we need and where do we need it, okay? We need in Anchorage, would you all agree, we need more roads to take traffic off of existing highways. Would you agree with me or disagree with me with that? Do we need more highway miles? If you think about it, how much of Anchorage is off a highway?
The whole thing.
The whole thing. If you really think about it, how many places can you drive to? Think about it for a minute. They call it a haul road on the slope. You can't drive on it, okay? Just think about it. Like, what do we need in order to push expansion, okay? So if we need more roads, we need more infrastructure, and we have more population, what does that also mean we need?
People, money.
Okay, jobs, you said, okay. Yeah, we also need, I've heard something different. I like for just a minute, I was like, I heard something a little different.
I thought he said drugs.
That's what we heard!
I
Took
hear
me a
things. I
second.
just hear
Took me a second, and somebody else said jobs, and I was like, okay, that's what he said. How about schools? How about schools? If we need more schools, what else do we need?
More teachers.
There you go. If you need more, if you are caring for a population, what else do you need? What's that? Medical health care. What else?
Food.
There you go. Keep it going. So that's how economies expand. But the day we're running out of land is I want to, in your mind's eye, I want to take you all to New York City. Find me green space. Find me green space.
Central Park.
There you go. There you go. Now walk out to Anchorage, Alaska. Find me green space, or go walk over into it. So we're not running out of land. We just have to have a push to develop land that we have. Okay. Right, and there still are some huge privately held parcels. You know, that's another kettlefish. Okay, so where do people want to live? That's the biggest thing. It still is, you can write this down, the most important thing is where someone wants to live. Where do you want to live? It's called situs, S-I-T-U-S. You also hear it as location, location, location. It is the #1 driver, guys, of housing. Where do you want to live? Now, somebody who I think is really brilliant, okay, as a developer is a lady by the name of Connie Oshimura, okay? She said, and I believe her because I said, oh, I am that person. She said if she could build, ready, ranch style, 1,800 square foot, 3-car garage condos, that she could build them all day long and twice on Sunday. And sell them all. I want you to think about that. Ranch style condos with 3-car garages. Anyone in here besides me interested in that property?
And also all my clients.
Right?
And they're really hard to find.
And
They don't exist that I
They
know
don't,
of.
especially if they don't.
Yeah, they don't exist. Now, because they want them where?
South.
They want them here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to go to Eagle River, and they don't want to go to the valley, they want them here. She said if the one thing, every single time she talks to her builders about, builders will ask a developer, what should we build? They say the same thing over and over and over. Because that's what people want.
But they're still building the 2-story.
Sure. But now, guess what else? What does that mean for your future population? They want ranches, and they want 3-car garages. Now, where can I build that for $250,000? Could I get a $250,000, 1,800 square foot, 3-car garage on an acre? Am I pretty close to my price point? You think I'd have to go to 300? I don't think so.
250, I'd probably say highest, like, unless you want something super extravagant.
Right. Do I think I'm right within my price point?
250, 270.
In Matson.
Yeah.
But here
Depends
it's
on how much
400.
land you want.
Even a
I
half
know.
an acre would
I
be.
know, yeah.
Even a half an acre, yeah. Okay, so the other thing that I think it's super important, I love that they have this. Turn over and look at the map. When you are actually talking to people about living in the Mat-Su Valley, would you please turn over and look at the map on the top? This area is massive. It's massive.
Wow.
Most people have absolutely no
Holy
idea.
shit.
Yes.
Oh, I just got it.
It's
It's
massive.
that box.
It's that box.
It's not the little box.
It's not the
It's
little
the
one.
big box.
And I live there.
Yeah. So when people talk to me about, I want to go drive around and look at houses, and we could go to Lake Louise, and we could go to, we could go look in Sutton, and then we could look in Willow, and maybe I'd live up in Talkeetna. I mean, when you say that to me, I mean, this is what I think. The never-ending road trip, right? And
That'll take 3 weeks.
well, when you're showing property out in the valley, can you tell me what it's like?
You gotta go all over the place.
And then, but like, so how many? What's the maximum amount? Do you have like a maximum amount of houses that you can show in a period of time?
Depends on how far they want to stretch out.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if they're wanting to look at Houston and then go back down to Wasilla and then bounce over to Palmer, most of the people, they have a specific spot.
Yeah.
A
But
lot
if-
of people really want to go to Palmer, but they can't go to Palmer for some reason. I don't know why, but
Palmer won't
I'd
have
love
them.
to go to Palmer, but I just can't see it feasible. There's nothing for sale out there. There's stuff for sale out there.
Also, there's zoning and codes in Palmer. Yeah, so that also restricts because builders don't want to have that. So I want you to look at how
They don't want to follow.
they don't want to do
rules.
it. So I want you to look at how tiny Wasilla is compared to how big. I think if you got nothing else out of this class, if you just understood how massive this area is, and when people are talking about, and there's so much undeveloped land, it's so inexpensive
Well, a lot of the
comparatively.
land, I mean,
There's a lot of lakefront.
There's a lot of, how about that?
This is
That
all
is a true
Talkeetna Mountain Range right here.
No,
right
for
now,
sure.
and I-
No, for sure. But here's what I'm just trying to say. When people talk about moving out to the valley, what are we talking about? Or the Matanuska-Sissisi? They usually talk about
Or Big
Wasilla.
Lake.
Okay, Big Lake? Yeah, even Big Lake is getting far out, I will tell you. I mean, I tell you why. if you're going to be commuting,
Oh, that's true.
if you're gonna be commuting,
That's true,
that's
you
gonna
got
kind of
that
be,
road
end up
before.
far out.
And there are many
You gotta
jobs
go
and
through
things
Wasilla
like.
at rush hour and that.
Yeah. So, and then here's another thing that I think is really important when you're thinking about going out to the valley, and when you're thinking about what are some things that people are not going to be familiar with. How about their sales tax? Okay, sales tax. That's interesting. Every time I go there, I don't think anything of it. If I go and stop somewhere, and I'm always shocked when I get my receipt. And I'm like, you what? Do you think you're gonna do what? I'm like, I'm from America. I mean, what do you do in here? There's sales tax. So that's a thing. Okay.
That was supposed to go away.
Yeah,
It was only supposed to be
Yeah.
there for 2
it
years.
will never go. Once you vote it in, it never goes away. Okay? It's
3%.
three, it's not even high, but it still is it's a little bit of a sticker. It's a
It's
sticker
like
shock.
9% in some states.
Yeah, I know. We're such bitcher whiner moaners, aren't we?
In California, it's
complainers.
10%,
Yeah.
is all I gotta say. And then the
How about-
income tax is another
Yeah,
10%.
Well, and
Yeah.
how about car
Yeah.
tax?
Oh, yeah.
And
about
car
car
tax
tax?
goes all the way up.
There's 2 states with no car tax,
Alaska?
Oregon and Alaska. Actually,
I think
there's-
Idaho. I don't
there's
think Idaho.
3. There's Montana.
Well, I think it's Idaho.
And
as well.
then income tax was initially a temporary tax to support a war. U.S. income tax.
World War One.
I don't know. So many years of job growth. Look at that. Look at 2016 though. Look at 2014. Look at 2015. Look at 2016.
Ooh.
Okay. The only borough to gain residents through migration.
Why was it so high in 2014?
I don't know if let's see if they tell us. Meaning statewide growth came from natural increase or versus minus deaths. Net migration for Anchorage, where Mat-Su gets its largest share of new residents, has been negative since 2010. While some Mat-Su residents moved to Anchorage, the reverse is much more common. Jobs pay more in Anchorage and housing is more affordable in Mat-Su, making the roughly, do you think it's a 45-minute commute? Would you agree with that or not agree with that?
On a good day.
An hour, I think so too.
I mean, from city line to city line, it
Probably,
might be
you think so?
45 minutes, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I got my kid a house in that little subdivision that's kind of behind the fairgrounds
Yep.
that you have to go around when you go park.
Yes, yes, yes.
They hate it there.
It's 33 miles for him to work.
33 miles.
2 stop signs until he gets off on Logan Road.
Okay.
It takes him 30 minutes.
Does he mind it?
No,
No.
he's using the books.
Yeah. He's reading the books on tape.
But yeah, it's possible to find a place that the commute is, I mean, it's not even like Los Angeles.
Unless you're trying to go to work during the fair.
And
Oh,
there's-
probably.
There's days when 30 minutes is a realistic number to just get across town, depending on what time of day.
Yeah, that's true.
So 30 minutes from the valley, well, that depends on, the Gawkers and how many people rolled over in the slip road too. But basically, it's a 30-minute commute.
Okay, not terrible. Now let's talk about another couple of things. Wear and tear on the vehicle. How about this? How about if you have 2 wage earners who are going to 2 different places, 2 cars? Not that that's unusual. I'm not saying that. But if you live in Anchorage, I'm 15 minutes away. How long is my commute? I'd have to look at my phone and have it measured, probably 5 miles. I mean, at the outside. Yeah, so not that big of a deal. But when you're traveling that many miles every single day, that just adds up. Would you all agree?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. So population by community, this is really interesting for me. So this would tell me where the largest amount of population is. This says in 2010, there was 88,000 people. Now there's 102,000 people that live in the Mat-Su borough. That seems ginormous. Do you see that? I'm on population by community number 4. Okay, so let's go to Wasilla City. Palmer City. Knik Fairview. So what has the largest population I'm seeing is Knik Fairview. Does anybody see anything larger than 18,000 people?
No.
Okay. So Wasilla City is only a very small area, and Palmer City is really considered a very small area, okay? But when you get into the Knik Fairview, looky there, that's where the people are.
You know what it is.
Me either. I was just thinking that too, like.
I think it's right around, you guys, I think it's like Connect Goose Bay Road.
It's Fairview Loop to connect Goose Bay,
Which
yeah. it's
also has one
everything
of the
in
most
one.
dangerous highways in the state and a huge drug problem.
What are you asking? Just where the ranch is? That area?
It's where a lot of the old farmlands were that got developed.
You take people up there, if I say housing.
Okay, so Fairview,
Keep going.
yeah,
Yeah,
the ranch,
yeah, the ranch is there.
the airport and stuff,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, you can get off on, what's the name of the major road?
Fairview Loop.
Oh,
Get off on Trump, and then make a left and go around that roundabout
okay,
and go out,
go right,
decide the left,
okay.
decide, and then you go out and this area just opens up.
Correct.
Huge area, so, so what's my first house?
Well, how about when you get out to,
CCNR's on that place. Yeah, well, yeah.
so I'm looking at home prices and average wages. It said in the first quarter of 2017, the average single-family home in Mat-Su sold for $283,156, nearly a third less than the average home in Anchorage. FYI, what's pushing people out there? I can get a bigger, more beautiful, how about this? I can get, here's the big deal, kids. When you come look at my house, which we're gonna go on a field trip, you guys are gonna get to come look at my house, judgment-free zone, people, because you'll make me cry for days, not kidding. I'm sensitive too, I know. I know the popcorn ceiling is ugly, I know. Okay, when we go look at my house, you're gonna notice that my house is a 70s home, okay? And there's advantages and disadvantages to that. But when you have the opportunity to go and pick out a brand new, beautiful home and you get to pick everything in it, that's very enticing to people, right? If I could get a used car or a new car, a lot of people would like to pick out a new car. If it's the same affordability, maybe I'd buy the new car versus the old car, right? Okay, labor is this is interesting. Labor is its biggest export. All of those people don't work in this community. There's not enough jobs to support all the wonderful 102,000 people who live in that community. There's not enough jobs.
That's a good reason to have a sales tax.
There you go.
It's a great reason to have a sales tax. You're not gonna work here?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great reason to have an income tax.
No, I think.
Well, but it also,
That's here.
let me ask a different question. Do you come shop in Anchorage at all?
People love to stay out there.
Or,
I did just get a Costco card, but I
Okay.
am having a baby.
right. So, but you're gonna come shop in Anchorage?
He and I always did.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
always.
yeah. Not always. I think Amazon has changed some demographics too. Anybody getting stuff like shipped to your house?
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you shop, does your family shop in Anchorage or?
Oh, I thought you said Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our best friend.
Yeah, Amazon would be Amazon's my best friend. But I'm not shipping toilet paper to my doorstep yet.
No, but Anchorage, I mean, if we're grocery shopping, we'll come to Anchorage, but quite close.
You might, like school shopping, would you come into Anchorage?
Yeah, I had to.
Big
get
items
my
like
daughter.
appliances and
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah, but they have a Three Bears out there, which to me looks like a Costco,
It
probably.
is all Costco products. They get
That they're
their stuff
upselling?
From Costco, yeah.
Gotcha, okay. So many moved from Anchorage, look at graph number 5. So left Anchorage for Mat-Su, left Mat-Su for Anchorage. Interesting. But here's what you're noticing. I just need you to know there's a lot of people who go out, but there's people who come back in. I think what happens is if they're just people who are going to absolutely adapt and live and love that drive. And then there's people who are just not, that is just not going to be something that they want to do long term. Okay. So where do residents work? Mat-Su, so sitting at 2015, 30% work in Anchorage, 56% work in their same area. Me too. But I'm shocked to find out this, and this is as of 2015, so this is stale dated by 2 years. Look at this little graph right here.
What are you doing out there?
Well, look now. Look at all of the big box stores. Look at all of the like Target came to town. You know, all of that restaurants are out there. I mean, there's a lot of move there because there's a big pocket, that 100,000 people.
It used to just be that saloon and
Yep.
railroad station.
That's right. So now here you go. This is always what I point to. This is what I think is funny. So Matsu wages, if you're going to work out there, 41,832. If you're going to work in Anchorage, 55,668. That's a big jump. And I'm not sure if you're not paying that $14,000 or 13 something $1,000. I'm not sure if you're not paying some of that in gas and additional prices. But maybe if you get the lifestyle that you love, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then how important are people's lifestyles, you guys? What do you like to do on the weekends? You know, what do people like to do? If I'm an outdoor enthusiast, I think Anchorage is great. If I'm an outdoor enthusiast, I think this area is twice as great as I think Anchorage is, if you really want to know. Matsu home costs less than Anchorage, okay? FYI, this is your trigger right here. How cool is it to have this graph? This is first quarter of 2017. That is poppin' information. So 283,156 in Anchorage, 366,199 is the average price of a house in this area. It's very expensive to live in Juneau because they're a captive market. They're captive.
What do you mean?
I mean that you have to fly
Can't get there.
There's no, they're
You're being held captive.
You are being held captive. You cannot drive out. Yeah, it is island living for sure. Yeah. Paychecks needed to afford a house. How about this? Statewide 1.2, Anchorage 1.4, Matsu 1.4. So it costs the exact same to afford. Isn't that interesting?
Because 56% work there with less wage,
There you go.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But it's less expensive. So if you have a less wage, but it's also less expensive in your housing, that
It
probably
evens
worked
out.
that might even that right out. Isn't that interesting? Is Matsu currently feeling the current recession? The Matsu borough continues to grow and add jobs since 2016, but whether statewide recession began to affect the local employment and the housing market in 2017 is the big question. Data suggests Matsu economy began to slow the first quarter of 2017, which is also backed up by somebody who's actually selling out there. When employment grew by just a 0.5 percentage point compared to 2% the year before. March showed a slight decline from year-ago levels, the first in many years, but more quarters of data will be necessary to determine whether this is a real change of direction. The unemployment rate rose from 7.6% in 2015 to 8.1% in 2016 and has continued to rise gradually.
And they're building a lot more out there. Those fourplexers, the detached fourplexers.
Yeah, those two, and by the way,
everywhere.
if you didn't know, that was I think that is one of the most brilliant ideas, but I think they've done it to death. They built detachable single-family fourplexes. I want you to
They're cute.
like in your mind's eye, they're financing it as a fourplex, but it's 4 single-family residences. Now, if you're an investor, that sounds great, but I want you to think about one thing. That's also 4 roofs. That's also 4 heating systems. Okay, typically when you're doing a fourplex, you got 1 roof, 1 heating system. Does that make sense? So when you do 4 roofs, 4 heating systems, which are your biggest costs, and then there's, I'm probably pretty sure they're not on city water and sewer. That's 4 wells.
That's the problem.
Are they on community or are
You gotta
they?
keep it. Either it's in your own community or you have to have, it's still
A
got,
lift.
you can't, that's the problem, because then it'd be, if you had 4 wells, 4 septics, then it'd be considered 4 different houses.
So it has to have a single, so it has to have a shared?
That's the way you get the community financing too.
Okay. Well, that might be a problem. It's not if a well and septic is going to fail, it's when it's going to fail and what you can do with it at that time. But at least they're on, typically, if I understand correctly, they're on 5-acre parcels.
No. Oh, no. They're nuts to butt.
Yeah, that's how, I mean, you have.
You don't even have an acre
Yeah.
parcel.
I thought they were on 5-acre parcels.
No.
Was the first couple built on 5-acre parcels?
Maybe, yeah, you could
Possibly.
build it
Yeah.
on a 4 or 5 acre
Yeah.
parcel if you want, but the houses are right there beside each other.
Oh, that's
And then
awesome.
there's another one, and another one,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
another
yeah,
one.
yeah.
They share the same
Gotcha.
driveway.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yep, that makes sense. That again, that you would have to do some of those things. That was actually, it looked like a brilliant idea, but then it looks like it got done to death.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then what do you know about the,
Oh, it was.
they performed it at they performed it at like $1,600 a month in rent, which Matsu, I don't believe was actually getting at that moment. So they thought because it was new, they would get a higher rent.
Mm.
Okay? But I don't
They were
think,
charging a higher rent.
Yeah.
How much, I don't know.
but I don't
I
think
think
it, I don't think they were
it's
able to, because there were so many built, I don't think they were able to
Well, yeah, they,
Pursue,
and
yeah.
they were talking about like shutting them down from building.
build anymore because they've built too many.
Yeah, I don't know how far that would go.
Yeah, because they're still building a bunch off of Wasilla Fish Hook or Palmer Fish Hook. They're still being resurrected.
And they started like 500,000, seven.
Interesting. That, actually, I think that's a brilliant idea. That was very much outside the box. I like thumbs up on that. But I think time will tell whether they turn into low-income housing.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, they dropped the rental rates on the standard fourplex.
Yeah, exactly. So look at your diverse industry mix on 10. I think this is really interesting. Your diverse, so you've got construction, manufacturing, retail. It's only 17%, leisure and hospitality. There's only 5% what you would consider professional business, 22% government, 2% information, 12% healthcare, which I think is growing, 4% financial, other, utilities, and transportation. So they're pretty diverse in their in what you get to do. And then there's something on Metlakatla. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go over Metlakatla because I truly, truly don't care about Metlakatla. There, I just said it. Okay, never sold a house there.
What is that a town or something?
Yeah, little Metlakatla. So gauging Alaska's economy here, you guys look at this. They got some more job growth, unemployment rate as of July, wage growth, initial claims, GDP growth, personal income growth, changes in home prices. Okay, that's something I'm really interested in. That's on page 15. Foreclosure rate is 0.06. I'm super interested in that. Population growth, I'm looking at that. Okay, and then again, employment by region. Look at this. These are so cool. And you could start to watch this month over month to really understand what's going on month over month. That interesting. And then unemployment rate slightly up in Matsu and Anchorage. Building permits remain steady. It says in Matsu, the largest year in 2005, there was 2,038 building permits. In 2016, there were 928. I think it would absolutely shock you to find out what the new permit rates were, numbers were in Anchorage. They're like nothing. Hardly, if I said hardly any, I wouldn't be considered. There's actually more. There are more renovation permits than there are new construction permits.
Okay.
Let's put the zoning and what's the real thing?
There's just not enough of a drive to build new construction housing, and what you need to build, we don't right now have the land for. I mean, again, when Connie Oshimura says I can, and there's 5 of us in this room that would buy those 1,800 square foot 3-car garage condos, great, but where do you put them? And if I'm not willing to drive to Wasilla, where you could actually build them, you know, so there might be a push for a certain kind of housing that we don't have the area for at this moment. But anything, yeah, or zoning, yep, okay. So I think this is something fan-frickin-tastic. Now, if I were a realtor in this office, and I consider you to be the leaders of the pack and super smart, I would, if it were me, go on to alaska.gov/trends, and I would sign here for the free electronic subscription, okay? And if I needed to, I would bookmark this page on my computer device, and I would come back and I would look at this every single month. I looked at it on Monday, which was the 1st, when I pulled up the August report. The September report wasn't loaded on the 1st. And when I opened it up on the 6th, there it was. So between the 1st and the 6th, they uploaded the September report. Okay. And you can, here would be the interesting thing, you might want to go back and check out the cost of, there's a cost of living. Does working reduce recidivism? That is inmates going to jail. A steady housing market, this would be one that I would print out, right? Other states' recessions, probably pretty interesting. The gender wage gap up and down for the oil industry jobs and employment forecast for 2017, that would be really important for you to know. So if I had to pick out the really super important ones for you, employment forecast would be one. Now, you could also just be looking at these and reading them just like we are right now. But I think what you're going to find is they do these graphs at every month over month. You could start to spot a trend. I will tell you why some of you might feel that your competitors have some kind of leading edge on you. Okay? Sometimes it's just knowledge. They're looking at things, they're watching economic indicators that maybe you didn't know where to look for them. They're seeing something. And then pretty soon you're going to be seeing trends. You're going to be saying, "Oh, look at what's happening." Okay? You just got shown what the most important things are in economic indicators are. Now you're watching the economic indicators. Now when somebody starts talking about stuff on TV, all of a sudden you're going to be going ping, 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 ping. That makes a lot more sense to me. Okay? So I'm going to give you your next break right now, my loves. I expect you back here in 10 minutes. They say I have to give you a break. If it was up to me, I wouldn't do it.
Live.
Lies!
Slave driver.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love this stuff. I want to get it in the brain. Wait till I show you statistics. Oh, people are lying.
That was my last job.
Statistical quality.
Now it makes me laugh. One of these checklists from last week. Needs analysis checklist. Yes, you can. Yes, have one.
Yes, can I have one too, please?
On the list.
Awesome.
You want to bring that? I'm going to run these upstairs. Appreciate it.
Well, I subscribe to it.
Good, good.
Yep, me too.
Proud of you. Did anybody think any more if they wanted to go to the CRS class?
I do.
You
What
do.
is CRS again?
Certified Residential Specialist. Ricky, did you want to go to that class?
Thanks.
Okay. What are the, I have the dates over there.
Yeah, it's 12 and
Yes, I've got it back over here. Because here's the deal, guys, if we all decide to go to this class, I could change our dates. 11th and 12th. Yeah.
Oh, this class that costs $275?
You also will get, if it's your first
$175.
CRS class, you can get $100 off just by being a Jack White member. So it turns that class into $175 versus $275, but still worth it.
Who's that girl?
Her name is Rebecca Bobby.
Rebecca Bobby.
Rebecca
Does she
Bobby.
work
Jack White Rose.
in that student office?
She's in referral. She's 8 months pregnant. She's 8 months pregnant.
I think she's pregnant. What?
What day was that?
Oh, and. You broadcast. Good. Well, just you get proud of yourself tomorrow morning when I get yelled at. Okay. I get yelled at. I get yelled at. You have no idea. Did you know that the man, your dad, hey, they yell at me for what I say, so why won't they yell at you for what you say? All's fair. I'll yell at you. Give me a minute. They won't yell. Ah!
Now, why is my picture coming up so big when I print it?
Because it's so delightful and delicious.
Yeah, I know, I have to take a moment, but noise.
Yours is doing that, like this?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's like, I'm
So
so proud of
annoying.
me, you
Yeah,
know, it's,
I know.
it's really, that house should be that size.
I know.
So we gotta go talk to Alex.
I don't think it's not Alex. Sorry.
I printed this at home, I thought maybe it was my home computer.
No.
It does.
Look, here's mine.
Oh, yours,
Yeah, it's super annoying.
I
What
log
is
in.
that?
This is the CMA. I did a CMA on my own house. Because you guys are going to do a CMA on my house.
Yeah, I didn't print it, I just went on
You could go print it. That'd be great.
my.
Oh, okay, you're so
My computer is having some-
sorry. Sorry. So the reason why I give you two of those needs analysis. One is for you to keep because everyone asks me for one. They want to keep one or they want me to copy one, and one
Okay.
is for me.
Okay,
So then I don't have to promise you I'll copy something, email it to you. I just decided that providing two copies is just the way to go.
So,
you wanna see my book
why
or that house?
Sure.
can't you guys set this up?
Probably.
Be sitting in the Mac 2 office
You've been watching.
live with you.
Because technology fails us every time.
Oh, that's.
I mean, oh wow, look at you. You went crazy.
I'm trying to sell the historical value.
Yeah,
It's the original home.
look at you. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you did a really great. Are you a scrapbooker?
From time to time. The last time I scrapbooked was when I got married, and that only lasted 9 days, so I did.
This is, I'm very, very,
I
very
haven't done
impressed.
it, since.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, I think somebody would really love this.
And then I was thinking, do I need to put in this book, the ARAC and the disclosure?
You know,
Keep
just,
on
just
site?
the disclosure, that's what I would
Or
suggest.
just the disclosure?
But that looks beautiful, look at that.
Before and after, and even in here, in the book, in the library, it talks about that the original features, of the house are almost entirely empty.
But that was probably as of the date that that book was published.
Yeah, but it really is.
Okay, that's awesome.
And then they read, well, those are just extra photos for them, and then I'm gonna give to them.
Oh, I'm sorry. My colleague. Can you-
Yeah,
I'm
she's
sorry.
so, oh, yeah, and she's responsible, yeah.
Trying to
Beautiful.
Yeah, it turned out
You did
really
a
nice.
beautiful
I mean, the house, it turned out really nice with them fixing it, finishing.
Well, that's very impressive.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Oh. And I was very pleased.
Do I want to download Flex MLS Pro or plain?
I can't answer that. I'm
Is that what
sorry.
your icon looks like?
My icon looks like
You know,
this.
my whole day, evolved around.
I just,
I didn't realize that was even available.
yes, ma'am.
Sports.
Thank you. Is there any way to do a keyword search on our Flex?
Yes, there's a little, search. That's your little icon. Little same spyglass that we're all used to.
Sometimes my favorite.
Okay, you can almost search anything.
Okay, I thought it was just listing number.
No, I can search it.
So you can do
Just
keyword search.
put some stuff in there.
Okay,
It's a very powerful search.
awesome.
Yeah. Sorry, doctor.
Okay, can we change gears for a second? And now we're gonna go, I'm gonna show you AEDC. And if Mat-Su Valley had the same thing, I'd have done that. I want to share with you Anchorage Economic Development Council. And even though I'm so excited, and why I got so super excited, you guys, is because they had information on the Mat-Su Valley, which I find to be very hard to come by, just to be honest with you. I don't find that the Mat-Su Valley does their own, does their own reports or anything else like that. And again, I'm happy to, I've paid to print. If you guys want to have these, I'm absolutely happy to share. So there's whatever's free is free right there. So this is a 3-year outlook, and I want to talk to you about AEDC. There are a couple luncheons that are put on every single year. AEDC is Anchorage Economic Development Corporation. And I'm going to search them on the web. And what I would tell you, it's aedcweb.com. I'm going to tell you something very important. What happens in Anchorage is what's going to happen in the Valley. And you can believe me or not believe me, but I would not lead you astray. Okay, what happens in Juneau is what happens probably in Seattle, to be honest with you. They're that far away. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. What happens in Fairbanks probably is happening a little bit of spillover from Anchorage, but most likely what's going on the north slope. Okay, just by proximity. Okay, so the Anchorage AEDC puts on a luncheon about every quarter, to be honest with you. And they have these amazing reports. If you look here, I just want to go to the website, peeps. How about we do that? So here we go. So here's about them. They have a board of directors. I also think that's important to tell you. Why would I tell you having a board of directors on the AEDC might be something? Could you serve on the board of the AEDC? Yes, people, you can. Our owner of our company, Naomi Louvier, is on the Live, Work, Play initiative. She serves with that committee on the AEDC. So their mission is to grow a prosperous, sustainable, and diverse economy. Do I absolutely 100% support that mission statement? Yeah, betcha. I sure do. What do? They connect businesses to information and opportunities. So AEDC, along with the Chamber of Commerce, along with the state of Alaska, along with the municipality, if you were a business that was planning to move to Alaska, you might be checking on some of this information. One of the things that I often tell folks is that it is literally that Bass Pro Shop should not be here. Bass Pro Shop should not be here. Cabela's should not be here. Can I tell you why? We don't have the population to support not only one of those stores, but two. But the difference is we have something else. We have the money, the wage to support those stores outweighs the population that we don't have, which guess what they found time over time over time over time? Guess what Olive Garden found? Guess what REI found? Guess what North Face found? But here's what I can tell you guys. If you want to know the health of economy, write it down, watch retail. Who's coming to Alaska tells you a lot about how healthy the economy is. Who's leaving tells you a lot about the economy. Now, if Sears were to shut down their store, can I tell you something? That doesn't tell me anything. Can I tell you why? Sears is shutting down everywhere. If Penny's were to go out of business, that wouldn't tell me anything about Alaska's economy. Why? Okay. But if Nordstrom were to go out of business, that would tell me something. Does that make sense? So you do have to gauge your economy. Okay. But so they support small business growth across industries. They expand opportunities in Anchorage and South Central Alaska. So they also perceive that the Mat-Su Valley is a bedroom community. You can search on their site right there. They are wonderful people. When I was having a problem with my computer and I was trying to get this report downloaded and it wouldn't download on my computer, they emailed it to me. They were happy to do so, and they called back and made sure I got it, was able to print it out. That's what kind of people they are.
Nice.
But for you, I want you to go to these reports here. And they have a research department and they have reports. And then I should also, they have events. So they have a 3-year Outlook luncheon that you all can go to. And by the way, talk to your broker, talk to your sales manager, talk to me. The office will have tickets. You can also purchase a ticket if you want to go to the luncheon on your own. Sometimes we buy a certain amount of tickets. You might want to let us know if you're interested in going. And if you don't want to go to the luncheon per se, there's a lot of people that don't want to eat the food down at the Dena'ina Center. Okay, I got you. They have seats in the back that if you just want to have coffee service, you can just come in and have coffee, okay? Just so you know. So if you look here, they have 3-year outlooks, they have annual reports, they have business index confidence reports. They have why would consumer optimism reports be important to you?
Their attitudes determine what they're going to do.
Right. So how many people found that between between February of 2016 and probably March of 2017, that people were highly scared about buying a house? And does anybody know what that tied to?
The economy, the military.
Obama stopped the oil.
It tied to our presidential election.
Ooh.
It tied to our presidential election. People were wondering, what kind of economy are we going to have? Who's going to be in power? Should I stay or should I go? Should I buy or should I be?
So they're renting for me.
The costs were good. The housing prices were good. Same. They're not, if you look month over month, they're not that different. The interest rates were fantastic. Same. But people were waiting to see what was going to happen with our presidential election. We had a really diverse viewpoint of how to take this economy. Super diverse, okay? So a lot of people weren't who's going to status quo possibly or radically different, okay? All right, cost of living index, why would that be important to you?
Who can afford a house?
Yep, who can afford a house? Economic forecast reports, employment reports, others for progress, and then resource extraction reports. You don't have to get too excited about that, but if you've got people who are in the oil and gas industry, they are highly excited about that report. And they also have these amazing things, you guys. They have gosh, what do they call them? They have infographics and things like that that you can download. Every single one of these you can download. You can go back and go, you know, if you haven't been here for a while and you wanted to get into some meat and bones, you could go look at these. But obviously, I think for you to have a 3-year outlook report that says 2017, why do I think that's a big deal for you?
Is this a projection?
The projection of what's going to be happening in our world for the next 3 years. Okay, so, and what I also need you to look at, here's something that I found to be really important. Population, employment, personal income, Anchorage International Airport. That should tell you something right now. They have a couple carve-outs, the Anchorage International Airport. If you didn't know how big of a deal good transportation is, goods transportation, this is one of FedEx's hubs. What does that mean?
Huge.
More people.
Anchorage actually has the highest landed air
Freight
freight in
in the-
America.
In the United States. We send things all over the world. We send things all over the world.
There's that FedEx facility out there has an automated, it's shuffles everything. They
Correct.
just empty those containers and it goes through the shuffle that reads the
Correct.
code on it. Gates open, gates closed, this stuff's going down the road here about 20 miles an hour and they're shuffling it into different locations, put it back in another thing, put it on another jet and it goes to the right location.
So something
It's
that,
so fast.
so literally there was if you want to read a business study that was actually quite fascinating. The owner of FedEx came up with a radical idea of shipping stuff all to one location and sorting it at the location and then distributing it. Now, this was considered a very revolutionary idea. That just wasn't how goods were shipped. Goods were shipped. I need to load this much crap to go to this place. I need to load this much crap to go to this place. I need to load this much crap to go to this place. And we're all going to go out from a central area and we're going to ship our goods out. Does anybody know anything about Amazon? Okay.
Started in the garage.
Correct. Well, Amazon is interesting. It is equally interesting. They don't load stuff together. They load stuff where there's room. So literally, if you order a book, and if you order, and let's just say it comes from the book warehouse, okay? They might have to go travel in a little carty cart 17 different places to get books, and then they ship them out all together. Now, conversely, you would think that that wasn't very efficient. Turns out it's the most efficient way to get goods to people. How's that? I don't know, it is. Okay, so Port of Anchorage International Airport, huge. Port of Anchorage, anybody know anything about the Port of Anchorage?
It's falling apart.
It is falling apart, but can I tell you something different? I have been told by the military that every single piece of equipment that goes to Afghanistan goes through the Port of Anchorage. That means the military ships things to Alaska to then ship it to Afghanistan. Now, it doesn't make sense to me when you consider all of the different ways they could get materials to Afghanistan. I'm just telling you, and I cannot swear by the veracity of that information, but I am saying it doesn't make sense. But think about FedEx and think about, okay. So every single thing that goes to the military in Afghanistan goes to the Port of Anchorage. Yes, sir.
That may relate to some deals with shipping, that you can only take a US built ship and ship things between one US port and another US port.
Maybe.
And from here, they could take a non-US registered ship and take it to Pakistan without a problem.
Probably. I can't answer that. Now, obviously, real estate indicators, that a big deal for us? You better believe it. It's also a big, real estate is a big feeder of our entire economy. If you stop for a second and you just even thought about how many other economies go off of real estate, just think about it. So you've got your banks, okay? Then you've got your title companies. Then you've got your commercial real estate. Then start talking about, how about Home Depot? How about contractors? How about pavers? How about roofers? Like, let's just, the tentacles go out, okay? Not just, how about home inspectors? How about surveyors? How about? When you realize how big real estate is, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to any economy, by the way, not just ours, but it's a big deal. Visitor industry, that has really stepped up where oil has stepped down, okay? Visitors want to come and see puffins. If you want to boil it down to what they really want to see, they want to see puffin.
A bear.
I heard that from a
Puffin.
friend.
They are fun to
Puffin,
watch.
puffin,
It's so cute.
puffin, puffin, puffin.
Give me the little birds.
I mean the little
It's
birds.
horrible.
They want to come see the little
See 'em
birds.
about half a dozen waves.
Puffins.
What is it?
Puffin, it's a bird. Do you not know what a
See,
puffin is?
What about
the parent
otters?
beak is black, got really high speed wings, it takes forever to get airborne. You see them running along the top of the water, then you
Big
see them
old
skipping
beak.
across the top of the waves.
They're pretty cute.
They're not that
fun to
cute.
watch.
They're not that cute.
Everybody wants to see.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like loons, they're fun to watch
They
too.
need a good house cooking time.
I like hearing.
A lot of growing up.
Here you go,
Puffin
dudes.
in.
They
Oh,
want to
Those
go.
guys.
Okay.
Didn't they get lost? Them are the ones that got lost a couple winters
No, that
ago.
was something else. That was a different bird.
No.
Meet what people are coming to see.
Yeah, it's a different one. There wasn't a puffin.
Meet what
Puffins
people.
are, they're open ocean birds. They'll live out in the ocean.
When
That
they go
is
to
correct.
Kenai, they want to see the, right?
What,
Yeah.
Kenai, that's
The
right,
tourists go
that's
to
right.
Kenai, yeah.
Yeah. Valdez.
Valdez,
When they're going to Valdez and Kenai.
Incidentally.
Okay, oil prices and then looking ahead. Okay, so let's get into this. I think this is probably one of the single most important reports for you to have in your hands. I think it's one of the single most reports for you to review. Because I think it's really, really important when you're talking to people. There's probably some information that somebody wants to talk to you about. I always liked it when I had information that was accurate. I like to, then if you follow these and you go to luncheons and you hear about stuff like this, I think it's really important for you to know about our economy, okay? People are gonna talk to you about this a lot. So population, so here's a little graph that they have here. They've got the population in 2005, the population that they're expecting in 2020. I think that's really interesting. 2013 looks to be the highest the population was in Anchorage. Okay, 300,957. Okay, so they're also tracking, ready, births and deaths. Okay, an annual average of 25,608 individuals migrated into Anchorage and 27,629 residents migrated out. Okay. And the cohort, I like that, the cohort most likely to migrate into and out of Anchorage was between 25 and 29 years old. For every resident over 60 that moves into Anchorage, an average of 2.3 residents of the same age moved from the city. The Matt Valley, and they might have moved to the graveyard. The Matt Valley continued to exhibit strong population growth in 2016, increasing 2.6%. During this time, at least 1,889 Mat-Su residents moved into Anchorage, and 3,196 Anchorage residents moved to the Mat-Su. Consistent with state and national trends, Anchorage population is aging. The current average age for residents is slightly more than 34 years old. The average is expected to rise to 36 by 2025. In 1980, the average, Anchorage had an average age of 26 years old. Is that shocking?
Completely, but
Okay,
that was when all my family was in
Yeah.
their 70s. That was when they moved up here.
let's see, my family came here in 1941. My mom and dad got married in 1958 and moved to Alaska. My dad moved my mom to Alaska.
Homestead then?
No, no.
Oh, wow.
Not in true homestead fashion, you know,
Like they do on the peninsula.
not like that. So employment, so here you go. Employment from 2005 to 2020. These are jobs. Jobs mean that we can sell houses, kids. So largest number of jobs look to me to have been 156 is what I see as the largest. 2015. So in the 2000 economic forecast, continuing weakness is expected in construction, professional services, oil and gas, retail sectors, and state government. Now, why is retail going down? We've kind of already talked about it just a second ago.
Online.
Amazon. I'm not yet getting groceries delivered to my house, but I'm not above it.
Fred Meyer's will do your shopping for you.
Will they?
And then you
They
just
just
go
park
to the
Right where they
store
have a
and they
sign.
bring it.
How
to
did
you.
I not know this?
They just started it not too long ago.
Did they?
What, a couple, 3 or 4 months
Do
ago?
you go on an app? What do I need to do to get in on
They
that?
do it down here.
They'll do all your shopping for you. You gotta give them like a 4 or 6 hour window and then you can just drive through and pick it up.
And
All
then
the
you
stores
drive
are doing
and you
that?
tell them which spot you're in. There's
Oh my
like
gosh.
7 of them. On
Seriously?
Abbott.
On Abbott?
I don't know about the other ones.
I'm in. Are you in?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, my life just got, I feel very much sweeter. I'm not gonna
Eighty
lie.
more hours in the day.
Right? But literally, that's literally what businesses are gonna have to start going to. So if you didn't know,
It's very smart if it matters.
Pizza Hut was trying to figure out a way to use drones to deliver pizzas.
Amazon's doing it already.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of controversy about it. They've been shut down with the FAA and a number of different things.
And Walmart has now become the largest grocery supplier. in America.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. But I wonder what's gonna happen now that Amazon has just merged with Whole Foods. Now, who is happy about that? And actually, can I tell you what also happened with Whole Foods? Their prices went dramatically down.
Mhm.
were
Which they needed to.
They used to call it whole paycheck. Yeah, whole paycheck. Yeah,
Whole paycheck, yeah, that's what they call it.
I didn't shop there because of it.
exactly.
Yeah.
You go to Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Better and
I
cheaper.
did. That's
Better and
exactly what I
cheaper.
did.
Actually, Trader Joe's, believe it or not, makes the most money per square foot of any grocery retailer in the United States and also in the world. They're not from America. I think they're from Denmark. I could be lying. They're not from. They're a European
They only build in affluent neighborhoods, I can tell you that.
because they're
In
amazing.
California.
They're amazing.
Target is France.
Is it? I don't think it is.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is.
It's a French corporation.
Yeah, it is. Canadians
That's
have
what
them.
Target-
Yeah.
So we've
I'm
been
gonna
saying it wrong?
look at that, you guys. I'm gonna look at that.
It is, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so look, so we're in 2017, 151,000 jobs. 2018, 150,300. 2019, 150,300. 2020, 151,000 jobs. And what did we just learn about how big of a deal jobs are?
Gonna go to Houston.
Okay, now that there's been a natural disaster, what do I also think might happen to some jobs?
They won't be here to take those jobs.
I think they'll flight. They'll do what they call flight. They'll do construction flight. Okay, they're going to go where there's work. Okay, so how many hundreds of thousands of residences were hit with flood? I mean, if you just really think about that, there's not. I think they've lost as many homes as they're showing that we have jobs. Close.
All the Russian voters that go to Utah now they're gonna go to Kansas.
There you go. Well, I'm telling. Well, and then also they're going to be here. How would you just imagine? You guys are smart business people. Guaranteed work for the next 5 years, being paid by insurance companies. Or in Texas where it's warm, right?
Cost of living is low.
Cost of living is low, and
Houses are cheap.
houses are cheap, and they're going to pay a very high premium wage because they're going to need so much work done. Correct? Okay. People are smart, guys. Okay. In 2016, the average wage and salary employment in Anchorage fell to 153,079, a loss of about 3,000 jobs, or 1.9%. Through the first 5 months of 2017, Anchorage employment is down 1.8% over the same period in 2016, indicating a year-over-year losses are continuing into this year. AEDC expects the loss to moderate in the second half of the year. The oil industry responded quickly to the precipitous oil price decline with job cuts. In 2016, oil and gas sector employment in Anchorage fell to an annual average of 2,900, a decline of 850 jobs. Kids, these jobs were the spendy jobs. These were
The high money.
the high dollar. And where did we, now watch this. We lost 850 high dollar jobs. Who knows what is the softest real estate market in Anchorage?
It's that over 750.
High-end homes,
What do you mean by soft?
meaning the house that cost you $1 million last year isn't worth $1 million today.
Oh, okay.
So that market softened.
Okay.
And in order to sell, you're going to have to sell for less than you paid for your home. Soft, okay, or declining prices. How about that? Why do I like the word soft versus some of the other things?
Softer.
It's softer to say to somebody. In that area, there's probably 27 months supply of homes in that market, okay? All right, so they cut their jobs. Preliminary data for the first half of 2017 indicate employment in that sector has stabilized. That is really good news. Also, let me tell you a little super secret that they don't tell you unless you're in the oil and gas industry. Not every one of those people actually lost their jobs, okay? What they did was they lost their working for BP, and some of them had to go work for a contract company. Okay, so not every single family lost their job.
They're still here.
Yes, some of them did.
They transferred.
Correct. But that's always been a thing. In an oil company, a lot of times, especially if you're in what they call the C-suite, they make sure that if you're going to work for ConocoPhillips, for example, and you're going to be a bigwig in ConocoPhillips, you have to go live in all of the different areas where they do oil and gas. Okay, which means your family's going to go live in Dubai for a while, or Saudi. Means your family's going to live in Texas, Louisiana, and they're going to move you, and they force move you, just like the military does, and they pay for that privilege. So when we're going to talk about relocation. This has a lot to do with these folks. These folks weren't hurt too badly. You may want to know why.
They were relocated.
Their company had relocation benefits, and I say some, not all. How's that? Is that fair? Some, not all, had relocation benefits. So they were guaranteed. It didn't matter if their house sold, or they personally did not lose any money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. In mid-July, about 950 oil and gas drilling rigs across the United States were active, more than double the count from last year. That's shocking. Okay. Over this period, active rigs in Alaska declined from 7 to 6. Though direct employment is down, the oil and gas industry remains an integral part of the local economy, accounting for more than, ready, 28,000 jobs, both direct and indirect. Induced effects. Okay, construction employment in 2016 averaged 7,400 jobs, approximately 900 fewer than 2015. That was an 11% cut. Reduced residential construction, state capital projects, and oil and gas construction will hold down construction employment in the near term. Okay, what's happening with the state of Alaska's budget, kiddos?
It's not by a long ways.
Okay, so who was one of the major construction drivers in the United States, in the state?
Oil.
The state, government.
Which is supplied by oil.
Correct. So for example, the legislature built itself a building. Okay, then everybody went, when they found out that they built themselves this beautiful building, but then they found out they couldn't pay for, everyone went bat crap crazy. Okay, they were trying to undo the development deal. Okay, because the state didn't need the space. What? Yeah, that's right. The space they were in was cheaper. But they had a developer build them a building. Downtown Anchorage.
It's pretty.
It's beautiful, okay? So professional business services accounted for 18,000 jobs. 15,700 in 2016, 1,500 fewer, 7.5%. It's given back much of a substantial oil revenue generated gains over the 2010. 2017 data shows job losses are slow, suggesting the sector may be approaching a more sustainable level of employment. Healthcare. So, Melissa, can I rat you out? What brought you to Alaska?
They seem to need medical people really badly.
Okay, and are we a good wage or a bad wage for you to work?
I took a pay cut to get here.
You took a pay cut to get here. Interesting. Interesting.
I had to quit 10 years of seniority to get here.
Dang it. But
That's just Walmart for you.
but you wanted to come, did you want to come up here that badly?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, interesting. You are an interesting enigma to me. That is against my religion. Okay. All right, 2016 healthcare. So 19,900, 800 more jobs. Where is one of the largest growth sectors?
Aging.
Okay, and healthcare. So I cannot tell you how funny I think it is every time one of you put, this house is close to Jay Bear. And I die laughing. I'm like, it's on the freaking hillside. How close to Jay Bear is, I'm sorry, I lied, not Jay Bear, UMed. This house is in the UMed district. I'm like, the house is in Girdwood. How close to the UMed district is it? This house is in the UMed district. It's in Eagle River. I mean, I'm just like, I'm shocked and amazed how big the UMed district is becoming. You know, it used to be just the enclave right around the hospital, Providence Hospital. Now it's everywhere. Okay, now are you marketing in the Mat-Su Valley similarly? Are you close to the Mat-Su Regional Hospital?
That new subdivision that they started out there on the hay flats, you could do that. I mean, I'm doing a new build, I'm making a couple here in a little bit.
Okay.
Here in Anchorage, and
Okay.
that's why they want to be there, because it's right beside the hospital.
Okay, but I mean, I think it's funny. UMed is becoming. There isn't a house in Anchorage right now that I don't think somebody can't market as in the UMed district. I don't know. That just is funny to me. So healthcare. So if I were interested in healthcare, or if that was a segment of population that I would know anything about, I'd be super interested to know that this is the huge growth industry in Alaska. Have you gone over to Providence and seen what they have built? Have you driven through there?
Pretty amazing.
So I just had to go over to the hospital for the first time. I didn't know that my doctor wasn't at the hospital. They were at some
Other building.
professional
Building
building.
over on Piper Street.
Yeah. And I was like, who knew that there was a 10-story building over here that I'm going to see my doctor at?
There's a 6-story parking garage.
Yeah, yes, I didn't know that thing existed. I'm like, wow. Drive over there, drive through there and see what you see. Retail is softening. Why? We just talked about it. Amazon. I'm buying everything online. I'm having it shipped to my house. Now, if you're a homeowner, do you want to tell people to have stuff shipped to their home?
Yeah.
No. They should have it shipped to their businesses. Why? People are driving around, breaking into cars. They're also driving around and ripping off packages. There are people that are following FedEx trucks and UPS trucks and ripping stuff off in broad daylight.
He must have come up from California because they're pretty good at there.
Tell you what. So leisure and hospitality sector, I would think that we must have the biggest visitor next to, I swear, Disney. I cannot believe how many hotels are being built in Anchorage. And here's what you need to know. People don't build hotels to lose money, kids. They make money. They don't build hotels to make money. Drive down C Street, where they would never, ever supposed to be able to develop anything, and tell me how every single one of those rooms is going to draw enough profit to feed that company. Now, why
Put up
is
another one every year.
that's correct? Why is it? And now, if I want to go swimming, I get to go swimming right on C Street. I don't understand why anybody would do that. That doesn't make. When you drive by this one new hotel that they just built, the swimming pool faces C Street. So you literally can watch people when you're sitting there in traffic, like, you should not be wearing a swimsuit. You should not be wearing a swimsuit. And I say that to myself. I'm not wearing a swimsuit and getting in that pool. But I'm thinking, as I'm looking at this going on this,
What the hell?
what? Yeah.
Oh, really?
Stop it right now. Okay, so why is this sector so big? And thank you, God, it is. Why do people want to come here?
Marijuana.
I don't think so. There's enough marijuana. There's enough marijuana everywhere.
Yeah.
Why do they want to come here, though?
It's the last frontier.
It's safe, for one. You don't have to go to Afghanistan.
There you go. How about
Wow.
if I lived in New York City? I will never forget watching this in my entire life. We went and did one of those miserable, awesome 17 Glacier cruises. And all I remember, it was horrible weather, and there were families that were out there with their cameras for the entire 6 hours. And I just remember watching that going. And this guy finally came in. We were talking, and I said, I'm really interested to find out. It's kind of not so great weather, and you're here with your family. He said, I have never seen this much green in my life.
Oh my God.
I've never seen this much water. I've never seen this much green. He said, all I see are concrete and buildings, and everything is like this. No wildlife. He said, the only wildlife we see are ready.
squirrels.
I don't even know, maybe it's
Rats and pigeons.
Yeah, so they don't see the wildlife that comes tromping through my front door every day. It doesn't, interesting. They don't have, the greenery just knocks them off their socks, right? And I just think, greenery, Alaska, what?
They
Okay,
don't even have mountains.
right? No mountains, everything flat, right?
You're
Okay.
just like the trees, really.
There you go, but you'll spend 8
Come
hours
to my
outdoors
backyard.
filming. Okay? Okay, but they will do that. So that tells you the pull that this has. Okay, let's talk about personal income. That's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge.
One of the things I would love for you to know, I hope they say this, is how much money is on deposit in Alaska. It absolutely kicked, I couldn't even believe it. 1%,
$60
I'm on
billion
7
or something. I don't see it.
trillion. There's trillions, there's something like trillions of dollars on deposit in the state of Alaska. Just
No.
What does that mean?
Okay, here's one. 2015, Anchorage residents generated 18.7 billion in personal income. 18.7 billion. If you think about our population, kiddos, that should just knock you off your rocker. Okay. Wages and benefits, 12.8 billion, 68% of the total. Investment income, dividends, interest, and rents, 3.2 billion, 17% of the total. Government transfers, Social Security, veterans, unemployment benefits, among others, is just 2.7 billion. It's not that much. That means people here, here's what I'm trying to get across to you. People here have money. Other states, people do not have money. People in Alaska have money. Okay? Personal income of the Anchorage residents increased an average of 4.4% over the same period. Total Alaska personal income growth averaged 4.9%. Permanent dividend payment is typically one of the largest government transfers Anchorage residents receive each year. There's a 1,022 payment was worth ready $300 million to residents. For some people, that's their entire year. Do you know that, right? For a lot of
They
Alaskans.
took half of it away from them.
Yeah, well, they didn't deserve it to begin with. I hate to tell you. I mean, that's a giveaway.
Yeah.
That's a
Free money is all it is.
that's a gimme. Okay, Anchorage International Airport, they talk about air passengers and air passenger volume. That's a big deal. Then come over here to air freight volume. You're kind of taking a look at that. A record-breaking 5.5 million passengers in-plane, deplaned, or transit in Anchorage in 2016. Port of Anchorage, POA volume, that's million short tons. Look at it going in 2005 and look at it going down, down, down. If I'll say it in here, tonnage. Declining year over year. Petroleum volume in 2015 was an outlier. 2016, petroleum comprised 51% of the tonnage. Van flats and containers accounted for the 45%. Jet fuel, imported jet fuel, that's interesting.
They can't make it.
Yeah. So factors contributing to the decline in cargo volume included reduced construction activity, declining household spending, and a lower level of economic activity throughout the rail belt region. Okay, real estate indicators. This is huge. Okay, total building permit values in Anchorage have declined each of the past 2 years. AEDC expects total values to be flat in 2017. They should hold steady through 2018, with growth returning in 2019 and 2020 at about 5% annually as investor confidence improves. Compared to 2015, total Anchorage building permit values fell 15% in 2016 from 549 million to 467 million. Building permit data is considered a proxy of near-term construction investment and activity. Not all permitted projects are actually completed in 2016. So commercial, 59% of the permits. Government, 13%. Used to be probably 60% of permits were government, just so you know. Residential, 28%. Several large private sector projects are underway, including investments in the Duluth Trading Company. That's 0.8 million. Hyatt Place Hotel, Odom Corporation, $30 million. Alaska Airlines, 11.9. Baxter Assisted Living. Who is Baxter Assisted Living, and why do we not know who they are? Isn't it nice just to read one of these reports and see something you didn't know? So there's an assisted living facility that's going to spend $22 million in Anchorage. Now do I care?
Well, I
Also
hear that.
Baxter?
I don't know. No, Baxter Assisted Living. I just bet that's the name of the corporation.
Okay.
Eagle Eye Self-Storage, 2.6 million. Dave and Buster's. What?
Oh my.
Dave and Buster's, 2.6 million. Yep. Public sector and utility projects include work underway at the Dempsey Ice Rink. Now, here's your government spending, kids, that we used to do all the time. Okay? That's like building a Denina Center. That's like building an Egan Center. That's like building all the government buildings and whatnot. West Romig Library, 8.1 million, and the Kootenai Water Treatment Plant, 0.7 million. Okay, real estate indicators, average single-family home sales. Do you care about this? Yes, you do. The strength of the single-family home market, AEDC does not expect significant price declines in 2017. What are you seeing as a real estate expert in this area?
Prices stay the same, concessions are adding up.
Okay, concessions, yep, but we've had concessions for a long time. Concessions, they're not, can I just say they're not new?
No, but
They're getting more.
they're getting more.
They're used,
People are
okay?
asking for more help with closing costs.
Yes. And then how about we have an aged home population. Now, this always cracks me up. Are you ready? So a house in Massachusetts could have been built in the 1600s and it's still being lived in and sold, okay? But we're gonna say that a house built in 1970 is old. That cracks me up. It just does, but let's move forward because I think that's absurd. But because houses in all other areas of the world can be very, very old, but anyway. People are looking for, I think something's really funny. I've got people looking for split level homes. They love them and they want more of them. I think that's funny. People hated split level homes and couldn't wait to get rid of them. Now we have people who are looking for those kind of homes. Anybody have a gander why? What do you think?
Families.
Yeah, what else? What else do you think?
It's definitely not age.
I think they were built for bigger families and they gave more space. I think they came
feel
with,
like you have more space.
I think they came with two living rooms, that type of stuff. Yeah, okay. So the average single home sales have proven resilient with very little change between 2015 and 16 when the average single family home sold for about $366,000. Over the last decade, 2007 to 2016, single family home values increased an average of 1.3% annually. Can I ask you a question? Does anybody have any money on deposit in any kind of bank anywhere? What are you getting for interest?
Not even that. Not even close, about 0.5%, maybe.
Maybe, and it doesn't
Maybe a
compound.
It's only there for emergencies.
Right, well, not my point. All I'm just asking you is, people's largest investment, are you ready? Personal investment is their home. It is where they're literally parking all of their wealth. We used to park our wealth in banks. Now we're parking our wealth in homes.
Because you don't have an option, is inflation.
That is one part. That's one part. But even so, we are not an economy of savers anymore.
You don't have options. Most people don't
Most
have
people live
options.
to the end of their paycheck and hope for the next one tomorrow.
I think I have nothing to say about that. Talk to me later if you want to have that conversation. It's about choices, isn't it? It's about choices. Like I just spent $4 on a drink. I spent $4 on a drink. $4. $4. Okay, we're done. Okay, from 2008 to and it's not alcoholic and do anything for me right now. Kidding.
You feel
Okay.
better?
Yeah, I feel amazing. Okay, from 2008 to 2016, the number of single-family home sales in the first 5 months of the year averaged 911. For the same period in 2017, ready? 968 homes were sold. I hate to tell you something, and I'm going to shock and amaze you when we go over real estate statistics. The same number of homes are bought and sold year over year pretty damn consistently. There's going to be some years that had more. There's going to be some years that had less. But I think you're going to be shocked and amazed to find out that the same number of homes are bought and sold annually, year over year. It's not like one year we have 10,000 homes sold and one year we have 200 homes sold. It's not like that. We're buying and selling homes at a very consistent rate. Okay. Now you also need to think about double. When somebody is buying, that also means somebody else is selling. When somebody's buying that house, somebody else is selling that house. So there's two transactions that are going on for every home sold. Would you agree? There's two sides of the commission, so there's two transactions, okay? Okay. Currently, approximately 0.3% of mortgages in Alaska are in foreclosure, a rate lower than the national average of 0.8%. In 2016, Anchorage saw 230 foreclosures. The 5-year average was 300. What does that mean? If your foreclosures are going down, what does that tell you about the health of your economy?
Better.
Yep. So would I want to be a foreclosure specialist? I don't know. You know what? If I had 230 listings, you better bet your bippy I would be. But if I don't have 230 listings, maybe not. Do I want to buy, have any of you been showing people foreclosure listings? Okay, what do they look like, Eric?
This place was on the river, and it was, well, it was right beside Willow Creek. It was in a floodplain, and it was a whole house. And he still wanted it.
Of course. Some people, can I just tell you something interesting? Some people just want to buy a foreclosure, just like some people just want to buy well, they just want to buy some people want to buy a Ford. Some ladies want to have a Coach purse. Some people want to buy a foreclosure.
Okay.
Right?
No.
Okay. That's all I'm going to tell you is you're not seeing the foreclosure market, in my opinion, at least in the housing stock that I look at, that is at a significantly reduced price than market. So if I have a house by house, side by side, I see foreclosure homes selling at market value with less concessions, less protection, less repairs, in worse shape than the same equal house right next door. Yet the foreclosure home actually pulls down the value of the home that is lit. So it's a very interesting thing. Okay, new housing units. So we're just talking about this, new housing units. From 2009 through the first quarter of 2017, about 4,846 housing units were built, including 2,314 multifamily housing units, 48%, and 2,123 single-family homes, 44%, and 409 mobile homes. Over the same period, 6,000 units were added to the Mat-Su Borough housing stock. In 2016, 423 units were added to the Anchorage market. The Mat-Su Borough added 821 units, double. Where's the building going on, kiddos? You got it, and has been for a long, long time. Anchorage residential building permit data for the first half of 2017 indicate construction activity is stronger than the same period in 2016. So you have housing units, you have 2016, 423 new housing units. Look in 2014. Look at the really sharp decrease in new construction housing. This has everything to do with, we had a change in our building code, guys. We had a change in our building code.
What was the change?
One of our mayors and our city decided that housing in Anchorage was significantly uglier than other areas of the country. And yes, I agree with that. So they decided that the builders were going to be forced to make a more attractive home. Well, when you make a more attractive home, it costs more money. Okay, that sounds great. Okay, it's not, in Mat-Su, you could totally get away with that, and it would maybe not affect the cost of the home that much. But when you don't have enough land, now it's significantly affected. Not only did it significantly affect the cost of the structure, imagine every single builder who's been building all of the same plans for all of these same years. Okay, now they have to go back and they have to totally retool even what they're building right now. Does that make sense?
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right, so housing units in Mat-Su, looky here. 2009, 651, 2010, 705, 702, 690, 746, 2014, 881, 818, and 821. Okay, comparatively to in 2014, if you look at it, Anchorage and the Mat-Su were building about the same number of houses. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you look at it, 2015, Anchorage was building more houses than Mat-Su. Okay, 2016, they're building double the amount of houses we are. Okay.
So is Eagle River. Eagle River's considered.
Yes, it is, Eagle River's acreage, okay? So visitor industry, there's some information here on the visitor industry that you might want to look at. Oil prices, as oil prices go, so goes our state economy. Okay, as oil prices go, so go our state economy. I don't remember, are you guys watching the news every night like I do? Okay, every night on the news, one of the things they always say is what does the price of oil cost? You want to know what they're telling you? An economic indicator that they are telling you every single night, okay? And then looking ahead, so the local economy is in uncharted territory, experiencing what is expected to be 3 consecutive years of employment decline after generally steady growth over the previous 20 years. Most uncertain now is the intensity of the downstream multiplier effects that could follow losses in sectors most directly affected by declining oil revenue, which include oil and gas industry, professional services, construction, and state government. Consumer and investor confidence will have a lot to do with the degree and timing of secondary economic impacts. Yet another year without a fiscal plan for funding the state government and critical related enterprises like the University of Alaska will further weaken the confidence in the future. To the extent that economic recession in Alaska is prolonged by a crisis in confidence, the blame will lie squarely on the absence of long-term state fiscal plan and consistent and competitive tax policy. Investors in all sectors of the Alaska economy, not just the oil industry, need greater clarity on the tools the state will be using to balance its budget over the long term. Absent that, investment dollars will remain in the bank or go elsewhere. Okay, and then they have, well, employment picture is not good. Here's some positive impacts. I think we should end with the positive impacts. Residential and commercial real estate values are generally stable. Do you agree with that? I think that is true. Less than 1% of loans extended to Alaska residents and businesses are non-performing. In the real estate market, Anchorage has the opportunity to tap significant unmet housing demand by meeting the needs of younger professional and seniors. The visitor industry is healthy with duly noted concern about the state's sharp drop in funding for marketing programs critical to attracting more independent visitors to Alaska. JBER force reductions are off the table. This was huge. The Anchorage economy would have collapsed if they had moved those soldiers from JBER. Avoiding what would have been a very painful hit to the local economy. Oh, that was so sweet. Look, he said, I said soft upper end market. They said very painful hit. The healthcare sector continues along its remarkable long-term growth trajectory. The latest available economic data indicates a couple of the sectors hit hard by the oil revenue-related recession may be finding a bottom with expectation of greater stability going forward. Anchorage economy today is more mature and diversified than ever before, certainly more so than in the 80s when a drop in oil prices took a bite out of the economy. Today, the city has an older population with greater financial wherewithal, fewer highly leveraged real estate assets, strong commercial and residential real estate markets in general, and a large public sector, which is typically slower to reduce employment than private firms, acting on an economic shock absorber. Okay, so if I want to know what's going on, I'm going to take these as my pluses, right? And I think one of my jobs in real estate is to be aware of what's happening, but to look for the positives that I could talk about. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I promise you, if you go around telling people that the sky is falling,
You won't sell it.
you won't sell a house. But if you show people that our economy is actually really good, and for God's sake, people, it's 100% better than a lot of places in the world. I wouldn't move to Detroit, Michigan for no money. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this economy right here. Okay, we're gonna take a 10-minute break, and then I would love to have you back. And if anybody wants additional copies of this report, they are right here at your fingertips. And they're in color. Now, when somebody asks you what's going on with the economy, what also could you do as a discussion point?
Give them this.
I might not give it to them, but I might want to ask them for coffee. Does that make sense?
No.
Yes, you can give them this. Yes, absolutely. But you might want to extend the conversation. How about this? What area of the economy are you in? Are you in oil and gas? Are you in transportation? Are you in, maybe I might want to read up a little bit on their particular industry and what's going on. And I want to talk to people about, I think something is really interesting that I didn't know anything about.
And I can
what was coming. I'm now very interested in finding out who Baxter Assisted Living is.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah, no, they're from,
Interesting. I don't know anything about them. I've been in this economy not for a minute. I pay attention to this
I've
kind
been
of
trying
stuff.
to push some other people into doing it. That's what they found out, was Baxter's coming in.
Interesting.
Pissed off about it.
Well, assisted living is everywhere. It's a really big deal.
It's not
Yeah,
here,
there's-
it's not in
I don't know
Anchorage
if
very
they're-
much.
There's
Not,
nothing in
it's
Anchorage.
non-existent in
Yeah, I
Alaska.
looked for my
Clients
mother.
now looking for places that the landlords aren't allowing them to
You know,
have.
well, one of the biggest things is you have to have a sprinkler system. You have to have a sprinkler system with assisted living. And there are some houses out there that are already set
In our
up.
neighborhoods,
Yeah, they're already set up for
they're
that.
set up and they have to have a certain amount of bedrooms.
Yes.
They're-
And,
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
however,
This-
the big ones like that, that Medicare can pay for.
Yes,
From the residents
yes.
Not here.
So these guys are gonna fill that gap.
That's-
Interesting.
I know, because I was looking for my mom.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was
So-
looking.
So the Duluth, I want to know about the Duluth Trading Company, Hyatt Hotel, 16 million. Odom Corporation is beer, wine, and liquor,
Yes, I saw that. I was
30
like,
million,
That's-
30 million bucks.
is that for the brewery?
No, you know what they're doing? They're in that ship. They're in that absolutely craptacular down at Ship Creek. I think they're wanting to, and they need to consolidate because they have Coca-Cola, they have Miller Beer, they have a whole bunch of brands. I think they want to consolidate. But Eagle Eye Self-Storage, $2.6 million. So all
You
those
cannot find a
storage,
place to park your trailer. You have to call them now.
Dave and Buster's, 2.6 million.
Yep. I
But the
actually-
government used to have probably that much plus in construction projects going on in Anchorage at any one given time. So like the Denina Center, for example, we've been building government buildings and government infrastructure for a long
So
time.
is anything that the native corporations build, would that be?
That would consider private.
Yes.
That's considered private. But they built a whole bunch of buildings, but they're done. So if you drive around, a whole bunch of their projects are already buttoned up. Of course you can. Yes.
I just knew that there's a house for sale on the end of my road.
Yeah.
I go up to them and say, I think there some outside your neighbor.
Yeah.
Soon you can call it.
It's my house.
You can say yes.
We'll have them inside.
We'll talk about that as soon as we get done here.
Okay.
We'll move forward and I'll help you out.
There's that.
Okay, and then you have one for yourself?
There's that. Have lots of things.
But no, I don't want it to be like that. I want to know at the end of this, I want you to walk out of the end of this training with every single, I'm telling you
gotcha, okay.
what I expect to give you at the end. And then if there's anything in here that we're missing, I want to be able to try and fill in the gaps as we can.
Okay.
So I'm getting a checkup from the neck up of where are you at
Okay.
and what things do I need to make sure you get out of this.
Okay. There's a couple of things on there to describe.
Okay, do you want to, what's that? The office distress code. Pull the red file.
Pull the red file, that one.
Okay.
That's-
Name writers, those are that goes across the top that have your name and phone number on it,
Across the top of what?
of a listing sign. Have you,
Oh,
when
of
you
a
drive,
physical sign.
yeah, when you
Okay.
say they're called name writers, they say
Oh, okay.
name, they write on top of the sign.
Oh.
Okay.
I didn't know we had those. So I get those when I get a house out?
We ordered them as soon as you signed on.
Oh, I just haven't received them yet.
Correct,
Gotcha.
correct, okay.
So my name, as long as my name tag is on.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we ordered business cards, name writers, name tag.
Oh, cool.
Okay, we order all these things as a package.
Good deal.
Okay, and then Marty, did you need this? Oh, Marty, did you put that?
Economic
I don't even know what
missing
my life
in action
number
for about
is.
10 years.
I haven't
inflation.
My license
Is it
is.
worth Right here. But
That's
but
true.
plan
Nobody says that
I
word.
mean, usually just before Thanksgiving, they tell you how
I
much it
plan
costs
on
you for a
bringing this
turkey and all the
out.
trimmings this year versus however many years back.
Get it.
I haven't seen
So,
inflation, and I know it's sucking the money out.
where would I get that information?
We can look it up.
Thought maybe they'd quit talking about it because it was never positive.
Uh-huh. I do want to go to this.
Okay, so here's the deal, guys. I want to talk about this some more. So if enough people want to go to the CRS class and your instructor also would like to attend the CRS class, then I'll change boot camp. But if we have more people who don't want to go, I'll do boot camp on those days. Okay, I'm just being honest.
That's the 11th.
What
It's
is
the 11th and 12th. It's the CRS class. It is this class on investments. I think that is going to be, it is probably, in my opinion, they don't bring it around that often, and it is one of their best Tonia's class. And I hope I don't over pump it and they have some lame instructor, but it's a really good deal.
16
I'll go to
hours
that. I
of
won't have to come to boot
CRS
camp to get
credit?
my electives.
Correct. Yeah, but you'll be paying for them versus for getting them. I mean, I got that, so I'm going to go on
Just
to
kidding.
What does CRS mean again?
certified residential specialist.
No. I will come up on Remind.
Are you using Remind?
Do I?
Are you liking it?
I think it's awesome,
Okay.
honestly. I mean, you gotta pay, what, like $3 for their phone number or something, but
Big deal.
who cares?
You can act, yeah.
I think it's kind of creepy, you know?
You shouldn't, because they've been running this stuff on all of us for years. Why are you keeping me?
Well, absolutely, I'm just saying, like, no.
Don't be smart.
You know, if somebody come knocking on your door, it's like, oh yeah, I know exactly how much you owe in your house, what your house
But
payments are, how many years you had it,
But, correct, but you just wouldn't
your
say.
marital status,
Yeah,
the whole 9 yards. Oh yeah, I heard you're getting divorced, or I noticed your son, he's graduating high school this year. You guys think about downside, or maybe like to move up?
no, but what it does allow you to do, that they've been, that, just like, so anybody ever notice if you've searched through something, that if you search through something, all of a sudden your Facebook feed will pop up with that thing you last searched for?
Yeah.
Okay, they've been doing this to you for years, and here's the real interesting thing. We respond to that data. Anything you look at, you'll see more of.
But then like, you know, you have to clear your cookies when you're trying to buy flights. Like, if you keep looking and looking
Yeah.
at the same computer, the flights go up in price. But if you went to another computer and looked it up, it'd be the original low price that you were after.
I went searching for a riding lawnmower for my kid this summer online. Looked at a variety of them over a couple of weeks, you know, in different scenarios, and finally found one out of Sears and Craftsman.
Mhm.
And I'm still getting lawnmower ads on Facebook.
Of course you are. But I mean, isn't that the truth? So your data has been mined for
Yeah.
years. So I know.
But
you would
it
think-
never tells them you bought one, you know?
Right, like
And you
stop
can't
bothering
tell
me.
them, yeah, stop this. You can't tell them, stop this, it won't happen.
Okay, so I'm at the
There you
stage
go.
of what?
You're getting there faster than I am. How do you like them apples?
Have you used Remind?
No, I would consider them.
Yeah, I use it. I don't like. Like that. Well, I mean, in particular person, absolutely, but me just creeping. So that's all, you know.
By the way, your buyers and sellers are Facebook stalking you.
Oh, yeah.
They're stalking you.
Yeah, I mean.
Buyers are
like I
Facebook
said-
stalking sellers, sellers are Facebook stalking buyers.
Oh, it's Marty.
I don't know that until they don't know.
I can look, yeah, they do. So it's not that hard. It's
How do I know the date that it was
issued, then we're gonna pop it up in here.
Just go to it and then it gives you all the
4:14.
Perfect.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, my picture, all right.
Well, it does, for some things it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's saying like, there's still people out there. It's just,
You said if I wouldn't have a chance encountering to approach you, possibly behind your house. And we got all this stuff, that's cool, what are you looking at? Yeah, that's all these work, you find out what your pattern of life is. If you look this far,
But- Okay, but Robert, tell them what your background is, please. Sorry. What is your background? Minor detail. I know, because Eric's over there going, looking at me, and Eric's over there going, I'm like, okay. I know. I saw you, boo. I saw you, boo boo. Yes, that camera is still on. Yes, it is. Courtview is your friend. More ways than you know. Courtview is your kids' friends.
Professional licensing search is your friend. Professional licensing search is your friend.
It's my friend right now.
You don't want to look at that.
You don't know that-
Every street has
You're
one.
the one who's-
I relate that guy who's checking the mail, same time I'm checking the mail, this is not Molly.
It's not just that one there, that they have two bells. So,
You have any daughters? You have to get a daughter, a little more cautious. Yes.
like,
You have girls and boys.
girls,
Girl, how many?
yeah,
Little ones?
do that.
What's
I
that?
got a client now who's,
What's that? Rum dealer? That's that. And what is that? Oh.
Yeah, he's got her. Yeah. Gun broker's awesome. Yeah. Good stuff. You find everything you want.
When you're your other, you have a second one, maybe, or another one? No, no. Seven and 17. Oh, my God, I'm
No, February.
Seven and
Oh.
17.
I thought you said, okay.
If
When
the
you
age
say
is under
17, like, I would say 17.
Yeah,
It says 17, I was thinking, I'm February. My brother's February. But no, I'm 12. Day honesty. I was born the day honesty. It's on every calendar.
Lisa, is this your home?
This is what I have listed.
Oh, what you have listed, so you
Yeah.
can see a man.
I did. I didn't know that we were supposed to do one for our home, but
That's
this is,
beautiful.
this is the CMA I did for that.
That's 4-bedroom?
Yeah,
Does that have a mother-in-law?
it could be the one downstairs.
No.
Come in the garage and it would be right across.
So
They
they,
wouldn't have to do
is this
stairs.
divided garage?
No.
Okay, so they would have access to that. Yeah.
Yeah, you come in here and then you go right through.
Mhm.
There's no stairs. It just comes right through, right into,
Nice.
right into a big, huge, it's a bedroom, but it's big and huge and has a bathroom and has a little enough where you could put a refrigerator and stuff there, right?
I like the roof lines.
Oh, of course. It's a great neighborhood.
Oh, yeah?
It's Raleigh. It's up in Service High School by the trails.
Oh, okay. Really pretty.
It looks like all the licensees.
But it hasn't sold yet, so it came close twice.
You can find anybody who has a professional license.
Got the second places.
So who did their homework?
Me. I did. Let's see.
What was your homework?
CMA.
I did my neighbors.
Yeah, not for this, you got it, okay, not for this, you're not. Okay, so here's my CMA. I do one too. I ask you to do something, I expect myself to do it as well. Yeah, you should, I can read it.
Wait, I don't need all of these, right?
Yeah. But I love that you're that nervous, I guess. Why do I think it's so important for you to know the value of your own home?
So you ask somebody that for taxes that are way too high.
There you go, you can do that. What else? Don't you think you need some kind of starting point? Don't you think you need to know at every given moment, if I live in this, and I walk into that, and they want that for that, is that worth it? Why am I handing you my tax sheets? Huh? No, but this is how I'm basing, there's a lot of information on CMA that you can pull from just tax records. Did you know that?
That's what I did.
Okay. You can use a lot of stuff as just a baseline. Does that make sense? So first of all, I want to orient you, if you don't mind doing this with me. We're switching gears a little bit. We were talking about the economy. Now we're talking about CMAs. I consider CMAs and the economy to be kind of tied together, okay? So Eric, do I have a CMA on a house that you liked?
I did one on Fisbo here.
Oh, awesome.
On a what?
For sale by owner, Fisbo.
Oh,
Fisbo.
Seven comparables.
I just did the ones that came up.
How many did you use?
What's the what?
Oh, farthest distance, almost a third of the mile, the farthest.
Look at the map. I'll show you a trick that I use for my CMA. Look at the map.
Okay.
the first map?
There you go. Because I live in a subdivision, do you understand that it would not be smart for me? If you could knock that shit off right now, that'd be great. Sorry. I love computers when they work. It is probably smarter for me to stay a very equidistant apart. I can't get very far away. Like I can't cross a highway. I don't even need to cross Jewel Lake Road. Okay. Because it's the more you live in a neighborhood, the more you want to stay in the neighborhood. Okay.
Yeah, this one I did like.
And I can't tell you at any one given point in time what an appraiser will allow you to do. Does that make sense?
Well, it just depends on how far they have to go.
Correct. But a lot of times in the city, I don't have to go very far, kids.
Yeah, this one I did.
HOA.
I have I have CCNRs, but I have no homeowners association. So look at what year my house was built. That will tell you a lot, but that certainly won't tell you everything. Does that make sense? So I want to show you a couple things on the Muni that you may or may not know. Okay, first of all, I'm searching by just, and I'm not as conversant as searching on the borough records, but I think the borough records actually give you more data if you really want to know the truth. I think they give you better data and more data. So I'm just doing my last name. What else could I do?
Street.
I could just do this. Now watch this. So I can find me a number of different ways. I can find me by just my last name, and all I have to do is, because my name starts with a T, right? I can just go next and see if oh, there she is, okay? I can also search it by this is my favorite way, you guys, 38. When I don't know somebody's last name, but I know this, the number of their street, okay? I just do this, the site address. This will show every single house with 3870 in the address, which there's only going to be that a certain number of them. And the faster you can make this search would be really super sweet to me. It's like really. Well, you're not showing off anything good at all, okay?
Thinking.
Should already be there. That's the funny thing. Okay, we'll let that. Now, so let's see if I can. So this is my parcel ID number. So you know what we're looking for when you're inputting listings and we're asking for your parcel number. That's what it is right there. Okay. This identifies that particular parcel. If you need to find somebody's legal address, you can input their address, find their legal address. If you need to find their legal name, typically, did everybody hear me say this out loud? Typically, people take title in their legal name. So you could find out what someone's legal name is. I'm going to hit the parcel. It's going to pop this up. Now, a couple things I want you to note on this, okay? So first of all, it tells you what my taxes are. If I click over here, you're gonna go to my tax record. You're gonna find out whether or not I pay my taxes. Comparable sales. The municipality does a mini CMA for you. I will tell you it's of no good value to you. I'm gonna hit this. And those sales were done in 2014, 14, 14, 15, and 15. Can I tell you something? Do you think houses, I can prove it by the CMA I just showed you, additional houses have already sold? The municipality doesn't update their comps very often, just to be really honest with you. This must be a horrible, laborious process and I don't know who's in charge of it, but obviously we're in 2017. Is a house that sold in 2014 a comp?
No,
It is not. How about one that sold in 2015?
not quite.
It is not. But can I tell you what this does do?
Taxes are lower.
Huh? Well, sort of. But there's actually, this tells me how they are, what houses a actual appraiser was using to appraise my house. Because FYI, city appraisers are appraisers. I don't know a different way to tell you. They just work for the muni, work 32 hours a week and have government benefits.
And they go off of this.
No,
They
no. This is a mini CMA is what I'm trying to tell you. It's a mini CMA. But you have to note a couple things. You have to note that the sale dates are too old.
Mm-hmm.
But if I just want to hit that button, what did the muni say that they compared this to? Hope for you to see that. Did you know that button existed? Okay, I'm glad you know that. Now,
Where was it at?
it's right here. It's under comparable sales. Comparable sales. I don't,
Go ahead, I mean.
okay, no problem. And then here's taxes. Again, this tells you, oh, look at me, I paid my taxes. Okay, this tells you, what does it tell you? What do you need to?
Tells you
What,
you live in the house.
Yep, tells you something else too. It tells you have to know for your input on your, it gives you the legal, gives you the address. It tells you what tax year it is and how much it is before exemptions and how much it is with the exemptions. And because let's go back here and it'll tell me. Now, here's something else really important. This is a little bit delusional, but what does it tell you? Who's my mortgage company?
None.
Does that mean I paid my house off?
Yeah.
No,
Just
No.
means you're paying taxes.
it just means I'm paying my own taxes.
It's not going through your
Escrow or your mortgage.
So it's not escrow as part of your mortgage.
It means I had enough equity in my house when I refied that I could choose to pay my taxes myself, or I could choose to have it taken out every day. Now, can I tell you what I wish I would do? I wish I would have done it the other way, but I don't. I do it this way. Because on June 15th and August 15th, when you meet me, I'm gonna be in a bad freaking mood.
Because you gotta write that
So I
check.
have to write a check.
I did that in California.
I'm in a bad mood. I'm not lying. I even tell people, I'm gonna be in a bad mood tomorrow. It's a lot of money. I mean, you all write a check for $2187.70, and then smile and do it again 2 months later. It's awesome. In the middle of summer when you want to do other stuff, right?
And know the municipality will charge you for anything extra they do for you.
Correct.
If the ambulance comes
Special
to your door, they
assessment.
charge you for the ambulance ride.
That is correct.
The cops come enough times, they'll charge you for the cops showing up.
I think I think it's actually, if they come to your house 8 times, they give you 8
After that,
times.
they'll start charging you.
And they show right on
Well,
that.
there's a reason.
There could be a
That's
charge.
for
There could be a charge.
sure.
Okay, so this tells you parcel number. It's a single family residence. It shows you today's date, right? Who I am. Now, this is something I always think is really super important for you guys to know. So this shows you, are you ready, that I am an owner occupant. I'm an owner occupant. Right here. So here's my address and then the site. If your address is different from your site address, that could mean that you are not an owner occupant. Could be it's a rental, okay? So it tells me what my lot size is, what the property is zoned as, R1. That also means what other structures around me can be, residential 1. I'm in 03 tax district, which is not a big deal. Believe it or not, this little number right here is a really important number to me.
Sorry.
Okay, this is my municipal grid number. So everybody write down Southwest 2125. I'm just going to show you some unique ways that you can do CMAs. You might want to also write down, if you don't mind, Whispering Pines number 1A, or help me remember Whispering Pines number 1A. Now, this is important information for you. Look at this. This says that my deed was changed on January 3rd, 2013. What does that mean? I did something on January 3rd. Now, typically that might mean that's when I bought it. Now, does it mean that's when I bought it?
No.
That's totally good answer, Dan Bale, Air 10s. A lot of people think if it says deed change 13, that means that's the year I bought my house. No.
It said 03, I might say that's when you bought it.
Where do you see 03?
I said if it did say 03.
Maybe, maybe.
You bought it then.
But I think a lot of people think that that's what that means. That is not what that means. That means I did something. I could have quit claimed somebody in or out. I could have changed my name, which I have done. I could have refied, which I have done. So there are, if you go and look at my thing, I paid this mortgage off twice. I have a new mortgage on it. I paid my own taxes. But I refied in 2013. I purchased the house in 2001. But that doesn't tell you that. And a lot of people think that's what that number is. Please don't get caught in that bear trap. That's a bear trap. So warning, warning, danger, danger. Deed change date, okay? This is the previous deed, okay? And this is the plat number. So my subdivision was platted in 1971. So that tells you what that is. Now, this shows you what I like to call your a rough guesstimate of what this house is worth, okay? So I am paying $299,400 worth of taxes. So in theory, in order for me to buy off on the fact that I have to pay $5,000 in taxes or 40, whatever it is, I have to think that my house is worth this, and other properties in my neighborhood should pull this value. Does that sound good, bad, or indifferent? Great, okay. Now, this shows you something as well to kind of proof up the fact that I'm an owner occupant. I have a $20,000 residential exemption on my house. What does that mean?
You own it and live in it.
Okay, so if somebody has this exempt, now, if you are an owner occupant and you do not have, and I don't know anything about the valley, I'm sorry, but if you do not have a exemption on your taxes, we need to talk because you need one. And you can get up to $20,000, which if you looked at it over here, translates into 200 and something. It's $297.80 that I could either have in my back pocket or I can hand it over to the municipality of Anchorage for them to go catch a dog. I'm sorry, I'll put it in my back pocket. I'll catch my own damn dog. Thank you. Okay?
There's some other numbers you'll find there too.
Correct. You'll find that if you are, you will know automatically if somebody has a senior citizens exemption, you will know that someone in that home is 62 years or older. You will also know if there is a veteran discount, that you have a disabled veteran over 50%. They could,
For those discounts, do they apply for them? Or
yes.
They don't do it automatically, right?
No,
You
no.
gotta go to
Because
the
I know
city.
the exemptions don't do it automatically.
No. And all you have to do,
Big bunch, it's really quick.
okay. All you have to do is apply for it once, kids, and it's on until you move your house. Okay, and I'll show you that, and I'll show you where to get that. Okay, so this tells you living units, it's a single family. This tells you that the last time they went and did a land only in June of 2009, and the municipality viewed my home on May 2016. They did what they call an exterior. They are
Done that with Google Map, couldn't they?
The municipality of Anchorage is required to do a full appraisal of every residence in Alaska every 2 years by municipal charter. Do they do that?
In Alaska?
In Anchorage.
Okay.
In Anchorage. Okay, do they do that? No, they can't afford to, okay? All right, so this also tells you, I live in a 2-story home. I was built in 1974. It has 6 rooms, 1 full bath. I have central heat. It's average. Thank you. I take a great exception to that. It's just a 2-story height. It says I remodeled it in 2010. Isn't that interesting? But I have 3 bedrooms, 1 half bath. I heat with natural gas. I have wood exterior walls, which is also known as the sexiest siding alive, T111. That's right, sexy. Effective year 1979.
What's that mean?
Nothing. They're adjusting dates. Hot water heater. It says I have a fireplace. I do not have a fireplace.
But there's a place for it.
I ripped it out. I don't have it.
Oh.
It says it's in average condition. I am going to have a problem with the municipality about that. That's okay. It also says that I have, my first floor is 1,047 square feet. My second floor is 780. I have a total living, I have a total living area of 1827. I have a covered open porch. I have an attached garage, which is 288 square feet. That also should tell you something right there. If I have a garage that is 288 square feet, what does that mean? Single car garage. That should help you out. Okay. I have a wood deck. I have 276 square feet of beautiful wood decking. I have a fiberglass greenhouse that is of average condition. It's actually condition. If you lean on it hard enough, it's going to blow over. That's what I'm going to tell you. Okay. All right. So
Do you have to pay taxes on the greenhouse because it's a
I'm paying taxes on the whole shebang, the
lot,
whole,
okay.
all the glory. Okay. Now there's another something. I'm going to try and do this again. Show parcel on map, please work. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. They're not working. Okay. Has anybody ever tried Anchorage Live? I love Anchorage Live. Okay. And I do not know of a comparable product in the Matsu. I'm sorry, and I'm hoping I'll get this to work.
We need to brush you up on your Matsu.
Yep, you guys need to clue me in. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna just type in. This is the coolest thing ever. If you don't know this, I'd bookmark this. And it is very temperamental. Anchorage Live itself is very temperamental. It's not just internet site. It's just such a, I will just tell you that.
So much fun.
It should, right when I type that in, it should have dropped down a whole bunch of stuff, but that's fine.
It's thinking.
We might have to show you.
You give a day out ready to kill one.
Well, that's what I said. If you handed me a gun today, I would have shot this. Okay, so tax records, it's not coming up with my, it's not deciding it doesn't like my, and Anchorage Live.
You need to get rid of that Flex MLS.
It's still thinking. It's taking all your memory.
No, that's not it. There are days when they work just fine. Okay, let's go to the CMA. Okay, when I'm gonna start a CMA, you guys tell me, how did you, who did their CMAs and everybody turning them down to me? Okay, how'd you start? Okay, but you can email it to me, correct? Thank you. You're wonderful.
I didn't print the whole thing.
Yes.
Was I supposed to?
Eric, do you have one? Do you? Email it to me. Okay. One of the other things that I want you to know is an expectation of mine. Before you write an offer, you'll do a CMA on the house you're writing an offer on. Why do I want you to do that? You want to know whether or not it's a good price?
Yeah.
Because how would you possibly know? Wouldn't it be really smart if you ever have to prove value, you can say, I told them it wasn't worth this, and they made the offer anyway, or I showed them that it was a declining market. Okay. So you search bar will get you everywhere. You can type anything in here you want to search in Flex. Okay. So I'm going to hit the menu bar, and every one of our dashboards can be set up any way that you want them to. I'm actually in how Jack White Company sets up our dashboard. And I'm going to do a search, right? And a lot of you will hit the CMA button. Some of you will do a Quicks. Some of you will do a map. Some of you will do an address. I start always. I'm old school. I always start the same way. I do a full search because I want to go big and get small. Okay? I want to get big and get small. I live in a residential property, right? The only, I'm going to tell you, I'm only interested in a couple of these statuses. I want active, coming soon, pending, and closed. I personally do not care whether or not a property expired, was withdrawn, or canceled. Go ahead. Absolutely. Because it's going to be somebody's competition. It's an upcoming active listing. If you think about it that way, it's an upcoming. So I'm going to hit the next bar. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you, I do not click very many buttons. I'm going to be real with you. Okay, I want to get as much as I possibly can. So I'm going to hit Anchorage. I know my area is Area 15. Is that okay? You're going to see I'm not going to put in bed, baths, etc.
You're going to get it all.
Well, I mean, literally, I have one delimiting factor of over all others. Does anyone know what it is? Nope. Nope. No. No.
What did you ask?
I have one delimiting factor that makes my house different than a lot of other houses.
Detached garage.
Single garage. I have a single garage. You can only compare other single garage homes with other single garage homes. How about, I'll give you another one, ranch. If I have a ranch home, not a raised ranch, not a ranch with a basement, a true ranch home. Ranch homes only compare to other what? Ranch homes. If I have a house on a lake, okay? If I have a float plane access, right? Give me some other ones. If I'm a log home, okay? I really only compare to other of the same thing. So I have a 1-car garage. So I'm going to come down here, kids, and I'm going to go 1 to 1.
1 to 999.
1 to 1. Now, every time you make, so this tells me I have 98 results. Now, here's the one thing you don't know. I have to make sure I do a date limit. Okay? So I'm going to go back and I'm going to say now how many results? I get 78 results. Thank you so much. Okay? Which is also too many. So I'm going to go back to my main. I have too many results right here. I'm going to go back to and I'm going to do residential type. I want to make sure that I compare the same residential type. I am not a 0 lot line attached or detached. I'm not a site condo. I'm not a planned unit development. I'm not manufactured. I'm not a B&B potential or in operation. I wish I lived on a houseboat. That sounds cool. I'm not a mod, a rec cabin, a site condo attached, a townhome, or a 0 lot line.
So you don't put not on any of those? You
Nope. I just hit the one I am. I just want single family residence.
Square footage.
Hmm?
Square footage.
I don't care.
You don't care?
I don't care yet. Yeah. Okay. So I also, and then, let's see,
garage info.
No, I could look at that. I have too many results and some dates are gonna come up wrong. I'm gonna have too many dates in here. Let me just help you out. There's a problem loading the search. Please clear your cache. There's a problem loading my search. Okay, now, anything?
Teresa said, not me. I see that every time I try to use this.
It's still trying to load. Still trying to load. Let's see if it'll load. Let's see if Anchorage Live came up with anything.
Oh,
Let's not take away this. Sometimes if you take away information, it will.
it likes you more.
We're trying it again. Waiting for Anchorage Live. I've already printed out my tax info, so I'm going to just do this. We'll try Anchorage Live at the very end, see if I can. And Flex has completely dumbed up the works.
Remind me of my senior brain, not to delete things to get the load stuff.
Right? I get what you're saying.
It just happens automatically.
But I never know what
It just goes.
Sometimes I go, I
It
didn't
did
think I
it for
used
you.
to know that.
It does. Everything does it for you.
Cool. So
Look at these folks here. They all did their CMAs. It did it. You notice that they all look similar. It does it for you.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. So while we're waiting for this to load, I want to go through this comparative market analysis. So one of the things that you can do is there's a comment section on the front. I would love for you guys to include some really cool information in here. So mine says subject property has never been listed in MLS. How do I know it's never been listed in MLS?
Because it's your house.
My house, I bought it for sale by owner. It was never listed. It was never on the MLS.
When did the MLS?
Can you, I don't care, yes. This is the current market analysis for the neighborhood of subject property, Whispering Pines, for the municipality of Anchorage and MLS records. Subject property is 1,827 square feet. Where'd I get that information? Tax records, yep. And was built in what year? So why is that important to know what year this house was built? That could be something, yes. What else? Yep, okay. It's 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath with a 1-car garage. Based upon this market analysis and physical inspection of the subject property, it's my opinion that the right price marketing range should be between, I left a dollar array amount. I'm going to tell you what the CMA says, and then we're going to go and you all are going to do a CMA in my house, and you're going to tell me what you think it is, and then I'll tell you at the end what I come up with as a CMA in my home. Does that sound fair? Yeah. Okay. Depending on how quickly a sale is desired, right? You should expect an offer to include bill of sale items of personal property to include your refrigerator, washer, and dryer. In addition, in this market, buyers ask and receive their closing costs paid. Once an offer is accepted, the buyer will most often have a home inspection completed and request repairs. Why do I put that in my CMA? To let the sellers know that you're getting this, that we're asking this price, and we might need to adjust the price based on the fact if closing costs are going to be asked. I want to make sure that I even show them in my CMA that, hey, I told you if you didn't offer some kind of closing costs. I put it in your CMA. If I told you that they were going to have a home inspection and request repairs. Okay, now here's where I suggest people do something. Are you ready? Should you wish, you could have the home pre-inspected in order to have a detailed list of repair items, and the price of your home could be changed based upon condition. You like that? For example, if the roof was found to be in need of replacement, why would I say that in a house built in 1974?
That's about right.
Feel me? The cost could potentially be added to increase the sales price. Some repair and maintenance items increase the value. Some repair and maintenance items allow for a faster sale. Some repair items will not add value. Is that true story, kids? Is there anything in here that you disagree with what I'm saying? Or think I should say? And you obviously could change this and do this any way that you feel comfortable doing. Additional items of note is that the home is located in a magnet school district, which is highly sought after. The Japanese immersion program, which carries through K through 12. Why is that important that I know that? Not just that, but this area is so popular that people are actually trying to move into it just so that their kids can go to the Japanese immersion program. And people drive all throughout the municipality. It's a lottery school. Do you understand what I mean by a lottery school? So I have to, in order to, even though I lived in the neighborhood, my kids were not guaranteed a spot. I had to lottery into the program, and if they got into the lottery, then the kids got to go into the immersion program. If they didn't, they didn't. Correct, okay? So if you know that you have what's called a magnet school or an immersion school or something like that, that actually has some intrinsic value to that neighborhood. Let me help you out. I get every once in a while, probably twice in the last, I don't know how many years, I've lived there, 15. Somebody has actually come and knocked on my door and said, if you ever sell your home, I would like to have the first right of refusal to buy my home. What did I say? What did I say to them? No. Bye, thank you. But what does that tell you?
It'd be easy to sell.
Okay. Okay. Not that. It offers close proximity to Kincaid Park, Anchorage International Airport, Lakewood, and many other exciting neighborhood and city features. FYI, even if you don't know what's around, what could you say? Many other exciting neighborhood and city features. Yes! Whatever somebody thinks. People think that it's a backhanded compliment, you guys, that there are exciting features in a neighborhood. Right? There you go. See, you're filling in the blank for me. I didn't even come up with that. I love it. Thank you for your help. Okay. I have a spare page that I wish I didn't. Then I have a map of subject properties. You're going to notice that I am not very far away from any of my subject properties, and my CMA is still loaded. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm not very far away. I stayed in my own neighborhood. One of the reasons why I stayed in my own neighborhood, can I tell you truthfully, is gangs of houses gang together. Does that make any sense to anybody? You know, I want to make sure that I'm looking at houses that are around me. If I get too far out, guess what happens? My value skews. I'm even in, believe it or not, I'm probably within I'm probably not within my exact same subdivision, but I'm very close. I'm only a couple subdivisions away. Also, what do I know as a real estate professional when my appraiser goes to do an appraisal?
You gotta look at the same thing.
They're gonna look at the houses that are the closest, not the farthest away. Not that are, this is what I need you to understand so carefully, not the same square footage. Let me help you. I really need you to hear me. 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom house. A 2 bedroom house is more expensive than a 1 bedroom home. 2 bedroom to 3 bedroom. A 3 bedroom home is more expensive than a 2 bedroom. 3 bedroom to 27,000 bedrooms, all the same. Okay, 1 bath to 1.5 bath. There's a value difference. 1 bath to 1.75 and 2 bathrooms. There's a value difference. 3 bathrooms? No. Nobody cares. 1 garage to 2 garage, huge value difference. Okay, 2 garage to 3 garage, maybe a value difference, depending. I hate to tell you this, but maybe. Although a 3 garage home is more popular than a 2 garage home is. The standard is a 2 garage house. 1 garage is an outlier. Anytime you have something that makes this house an outlier, I have to compare that outlier feature to all other outlier features. It is what it is, what it is, what it is. Does that make sense? I also want to, just another tip, that one of the most important factors for an appraiser is year built. If I try and compare a house built in the 70s to a house built in the 2000s, that is a different house. One is 2x6 construction, kids. One was built with codes. The year this house was built, they had codes, they just didn't enforce them very much. Okay? Yes, sir. You just want to be, if you're in the same neighborhood, you just don't care. I just want to be the same vintage. You just have to be really careful about those super mixed neighborhoods that, like, I'll give you some mixed neighborhoods. Spenard, my favorite. You've got some houses that were there from the 40s and some houses that have just been constructed. That's a really super mixed neighborhood. So you have to be careful about comparing ages because appraisers are going to care about the age of the structure. That's one of their largest, ready, value set. It's not square footage. Square footage is not that big of a deal. Lots. If you start getting into bigger lots, a big deal. But a big city lot, I have a big city lot, kids. Look at how big my lot is. It's ridiculous. I have a 7,587 square foot lot. That's big in Anchorage. Okay, if you get lots that are 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, 20,000, that's going to add value. But look at this little mappy map that I'm showing you. You kind of notice that all of the lots are relative. I mean, one of them is bigger. I can see that. I spy with my naked eye. Two and four are a little bit bigger. But you kind of see that they're all relatively the same because it's in a platted subdivision. And all of this area was platted at the same time. So you see that the homes are relatively the same. Now, are they all cookie cutter homes? No, I promise you they are not. They're not cookie cutter, but they're all relatively the same. Is that helpful or not helpful? Also, I'm comparing a single family to a single family. I do not compare a single family to a zero lot line. I don't compare a single family to a condo. I don't compare a single family to a PUD. I compare a two-story to a two-story or above, okay? Like that. If you get it, the more similar you can get, the more appraisers love you and the closer you actually get to value. Okay, and you will have homes that are what we call outliers, like a tiny house movement, outlier. Quonset hut made into a house, outlier. Log homes, outliers. Chalet-style homes, outliers. Big, fat, huge chalet-style homes, super duper outliers, okay? Houses built in the 80s, wonk-tonkular, okay? Wonky, okay? Wonky. All right, so there you go. There's the subject. Now, address, again, we do have the subject. We have bedrooms, bathrooms, residence, square footage, garage number, year built, okay? Now, when you start to kind of go through here, if you just the comparable properties, if you don't mind, go to year built. Look at what year all these were built. 75, 75, 60, right? Okay. You see that? Go to the next page. 69, 60, 70. Okay. Last page. 64. So this is a vintage of a house. Do you kind of know if you just, I don't know if you can just see from these little pictures, you kind of notice that the houses are all relatively have the same kind of featurey. They're kind of flat fronted. Does that make sense? That's probably me. I apologize, kids. I thought I would have turned that off. That should have gone off like 70 times before now. I got a new phone. Okay, got a new phone. All right. So and then I think there's some bigger pictures when you get back here. So you got sold, list, and adjust volume, summary of active listings. Now, the most, it does not matter how many times I try and drill this into people's houses, the most important data in a CMA are sold listings. I don't care that there's 70 active listings. I don't care that there's 14 pending listings. I only care about sold listings. Sold listings are ones that got appraised, that transferred property. They're your most important data set, okay? The other most important data set that I need you people to understand that appraisers are looking at. Ready? Appraisers are looking at what the total concession of the seller was. Total concession, closing costs that are paid. Closing costs, you need to go through your listings and you need to circle something. How much closing costs were paid? You notice that I said on the front page, typically homes come with closing costs paid. When you're writing offers, are you guys asking for closing costs on behalf of your buyers? Is that standard every day? Is that something you don't do? You are correct. So typically if I'm writing a lowball offer, also I will tell you that if I'm going to ask for cash, I'm going to true the offer. What they're going to do is they're going to lower the amount of closing costs that they would have gotten. So if I was going to ask for $10,000 in closing costs, I write a $400,000 house, I'm going to write a $390,000 cash offer. Okay, does that make sense? Like, yes, if I'm gonna do a lowball offer, I should pay my own closing costs. That's the thought process. So active listings, there's only one active listing. This one active listing, that is my competition. So when I price my property, okay, I want to be, if I have a far superior home, I obviously am going to be superior to my competition. If I'm an inferior home, I want to be inferior. And if I can tell you a huge strategy, kids, I want to be the least expensive house I can be. Why do I want to be just under the market? There's a huge, if you didn't know why some of your competitors can sell a house in days, can I tell you why it is? They don't try and place the house at the highest of the high. They're just at or under market. And they often, are you ready? If you price it just right, if you're at or under market, can I tell you what will happen? Buyers are out looking at houses. When they walk into a home that they know is priced competitively and they walk in, they're ready to write an offer. And if they feel the love on that house, not only will they feel the love, but many other people will feel the love. It will actually, are you ready? Drive the price up. Okay? That's a technique that I think you ought to talk to your sellers about. It's not about placing the property at what is the maximum that they could possibly get. It's placing the property where it's the most probable they will get an offer. That is a hard sell for a seller. I don't not understand that. And by the way, I'm a seller. I don't want to leave $1 on the table. Okay, but when you guys are when you're on Flex and you're looking at the hot sheet and you're seeing those price reductions, what do you see? The market simply rejects properties that are overpriced. Because buyers are going in here going, I'm not paying this for this. Not when that house over there is over here and that house over here is there. Okay, so you got an overall, you have a low, average, and median. One of the most important things for me that you understand is median is your most important number. A lot of you only use your average. Median, are you ready? Do you know how you get a median? You knock off the high, you knock off the low, which skews your numbers. Did you know that? Okay, medians give you what actually the market is. Average is not the market, kids. Okay? And then you have overall unadjusted prices. Okay, you've got all your listings here. You've got a price recommendation. And then when you're sitting at the house, you can kind of go through here and you can see on the big pictures what these houses actually look like. Then when you compare the house, you have a really great idea about when you walk in and you're looking around what you're looking at. Okay? All right. Anybody have any questions on this CMA? When you closing costs. Okay. On any single listing, I'm sorry, hang on, let me try. I'm gonna kick off and I'm gonna try and go back in. Yeah, on every single closed report. It's not allowing me to load any search, you guys. When you go to any closed listing, if you look at the bottom of the listing, it says what the original list price was, how many days it was on the market. It will also say seller paid closing costs. Okay. So any of the seller paid closing costs. Yeah, you just got to, okay. So you're right. Sky Hills Drive. Woohoo! This is my favorite neighborhood. Did you not know this? Oh, Sky Hills Drive. I love it. Oh, I love it. I'm in already. Okay. The other thing that I might suggest you do is for comparison, you're going to have arguments with people. I already know this. There's another couple things that you can include, especially if you know you're going to have an argument. I often will print out a photo report for sellers. Photo report. Okay? You guys can print out what is called a photo report. It's one of the little drop downs in your search. I'm just going to get off here. And what you can really do, it's very hard in vibrant color, or take your laptop and going over photos when you're looking at it and you can say, oh gosh, look at that. So they, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, 3870 Carroll Drive, they have engineered hardwood. And you have, would that be shag carpet? Okay, they have a brand new kitchen. You have a Jenner range. Yeah, there you go. They have stainless steel. They have, and it's what is hard for people to, if you depersonalize it and you not make it about you versus them, you make it house versus house. It's very hard for someone to argue house versus house. It is very easy to argue with, well, your opinion. All right, if you just show somebody actual photos of what a house looks like, it's a lot easier than I say. Okay? All right. So I wanted to, yes, sir. Okay, I can't wait. I wanted to leave you with the fact, a couple things. So we are not going to be meeting again until next Wednesday. I'm going to see my granddaughter on her birthday. Yay. That's right. So I'm going to be out of state. Okay. Should you need me, I will get back with you. Your best bet would be to text me, and I have no idea if my email is going to work, just to be honest. So text me, leave a message. Okay. And then next Wednesday, we're meeting back up, and we're going to be going over real estate statistics, which is my absolute favorite thing. I'm absolutely convinced if I know the economy, and if I know the real estate statistics in any market area I go to, Alabama, Maine, Florida, California, Washington, Alaska, I can sell real estate if I know the statistics. That's how powerful I hope that class is for you. Okay, so I highly recommend that I see you there next Wednesday. Sound like a plan? And in the meantime, does anybody have any goals that they want to tell me about that you want to do from now till then?
Sell a house.
Love it. I want you to get your 2 listings sold. Okay, what do you plan on doing? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, no problem. And easy, take it easy. I'm just looking for something. Okay? No. We're gonna during the class, we're gonna take a class tour when I feel that my house is clean enough. We're gonna go over to my home and we're gonna walk through and you're gonna do a CMA. And then I'm going to do a CMA at the end and I'm gonna tell you what I would sell my own home for. That sound fair?
300.
This, my password for walks to the office.
Yeah, it should. And if it doesn't, I will walk you up there and I'll print whatever you want.
Yeah, I need to do it.
Yeah. Walk upstairs and the girls at the front desk will help you as well. Okay, Dan, what do you got?
Oh, I'll make it short. Last Friday, I was walking out of my house, and, come to the class. Okay, and I get out, and I'm looking at the curb, and I look kind of on a hill, and I'm seeing all this water coming down the gutter, and it's not raining. This is odd. So I look up the gutter, and shoot, it's all coming down the neighbor's driveway. I'm going, this can't be. So I go up, and I'm walking up the neighbor's driveway, and I can see water coming out of the hose bit where the hose is connected and just running into the garage. He's had it hooked up for a while anyway. I had to pay for it to drain it. So I'm looking at it, and it's got water just pouring out the outside of the hose bit, not through the hose.
Got it. Those are those.
And so I got up there and I turned it off. Okay, because I know what it is. He comes out the door and goes, "Hi." We talked for a bit. I explained to him the realities of an article where the actual valve stem goes to. Look inside the crawl space. Okay. Somebody left the hose on it or had a leak and it split in the winter. He didn't understand what it was.
Attention.
He had been on for days. The reason I saw it was not only was water coming down the driveway from that leak into the hose bit, but it was also coming up from under the foundation alongside the driveway. And I'm going, I would be dead off if I was you. And he says, "Oh, it's my sister's house." I says, "If it's your sister's house, you should go right now and open up the crawl space and look in, because I bet you the water is within 6 inches of the floor." For 3 days, he's had hoses coming out of the house, pumping water. Now he's got an air dryer in there with a big.
Oh, I bet he does.
He had a big truck in there on Monday, hauling
Cleaning it?
baggies full of stuff that was probably in the crawl space.
Oh, no. So can I ask the group, who has decided they want to do that CRS class? You are,
I'm thinking.
you're
about it.
thinking, okay.
Tomorrow night at 5:30.
That's okay.
Oh, that's the
That's
October.
the CRS class
October.
on investments.
Yeah.
October 11th, you are saying yes. So I am saying, with your permission, since it sounds like enough of us want to do it, that I'm going to move group camp dates so that everyone can go to that CRS class should they choose. So that nobody loses any PLE or class time. So we all go feel amazing. Your instructor wants to take that class. That's how cool it is. Yes. Right, but everybody individually has to sign up for it. Now, if it's your first CRS class, not only is it offered at a discount of the $275, which is amazing that they're doing that. Also, you will get another $100 discount because Naomi Bouvier, our owner, is a patron supporter of CRS. Okay, so just by being at Jack White, you get an additional one time. It'll be $175. So that's a real, for 12 credits, you would get those for free, but not the point. It's one of the times when I would tell you, this is a class that I'm super interested in taking.
That's when you try to sign up for what you're heading.
Yeah. Yes, you do. I do have it. You do have it. I just have to call. You just have to call.
Better check.
And also, if you've ever gotten the NAR magazine, it's right on your nurse. We call it a nurse number. I don't know why it says this. It's right on there. Okay. How do I get my you get it from the National Association of Realtors. Have you gone over and done your ethics course yet?
No, how do I do that?
Okay, they should be contacting you and sending you an invitation. Okay. Okay. Anybody have? And now, again, I'm leaving tonight. I'm leaving on a jet plane. Tonight, tomorrow morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. Yes. On the jet plane. When I'll be back again.
That was one of my karaoke.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, babe, I hate to go.
That's a good one.
But I'm leaving on a jet plane.
One of your karaoke.
Yeah. Well,
When's my grandchild's birthday?
on Grandparents' Day.
Oh.
No shit. On Grandparents' Day. 10.
That is so.
So where do you go to sign up for that?
Okay, did you get this information? Okay, sure. Anybody else need that information?
We got it last week, right?
Yeah, you did, but I'm happy to hand it. Or anybody else would like to? Absolutely. And it's buying and selling investment properties. You just tell them it's your first class and that you understand that you get another $100 off. And I think I believe they're. And I hope I am already. Yes. You took a
All right. Thank you, Teresa.
I don't know that one or two. I'm planning on having a glass of wine on the plane.
How long have you gone?
Until next Wednesday. So I'm going down I'll be there Wednesday morning, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, fly on Tuesday. Get back Tuesday night. Come do this.
Where are you?
They're in Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Wear sunscreen.
What's that?
Wear sunscreen so you don't get blistered like.
Right, no, that's such a good call. And I just kept looking, like, no, I got plenty of time that I realized. It's tonight.
So if I walk up to my neighbor's house and they say, oh, could you list
Okay.
that for me?
I want you to hang on one quick second, if you allow me to Sure. Do a couple close down things. Thank you, Lovey. I'm going to have so much fun.
Will I have a chance to attend the camp?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And I have a very rigid bunch of stuff that I go over. And depending on, I will tell you, depending on the class, I get to more stuff. You know, if I have a more rockets group that talks a lot, and if my equipment works, I probably get to a lot more stuff. That is fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, the reason why I have to stop myself and make myself do all this is I get tickets from this.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what you're doing wrong. You're supposed to do it. I told you that Amazon was, there was a rumor that Amazon was getting a prescription business.
That's got to be next.